Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. From 40 teams down to 20 teams in the knockout stage. Now, we'll see who'll be getting that 1-2 punch or otherwise punching their ticket into the grand finals. This is Call of Duty Mobile Garena September Cup 2025 Battle Royale. On this, I am Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by the one and only Super Clark.
Good evening, everyone, and here we go. We're done with the group stage battle right now. We are moving on to the playoffs, and this will be interesting because a lot of teams fought hard already, and they deserve to be in this playoff. So let's see what's going to happen because this is going to be interesting. A lot of things have been changes, so let's see how are they going to change as well their playstyles.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now that they will be grouped together, there will be a different or a lot of change, I would say, in how they will playing for today. We'll have to see, though, on how they're going to make all those adjustments. But before we go anywhere else, let's take a look at what has happened so far. In tournament timeline, we have seen the registration happen as well as qualifiers between 400 plus teams, and recently, after 4 days of the group stages, we are now on the playoffs or the knockout stage. And by tomorrow, the 16 teams after today would be heading into the grand finals. A little bit of insight right now on how this looks like is, I did mention, out of those 400 teams that went into qualifiers from September 11 to the 18th and the group stages for the last 4 days, I know that there's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of teams that really struggled so much, but there was also a silver lining because some of the teams who could have qualified has fallen off the grid, giving chance to a couple of teams to move up.
Right, because this is gonna be a no joke, brother. We have the prize pool, as you can see right here.
Oh yeah,
25,000 US dollars. So where the grand champion will be getting 10,000, second place will be getting 5, fourth to third, 3,000 to fourth, 2,000 to fifth, and sixth placer will be getting 1,000 US dollars.
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a lot of moolah right now, and we did some calculation in Philippine peso. This is 1.4 M or more than that. Now, as we look into the teams right now, participating team into the playoffs, we have these teams. So let me just read it off, not in order of what we have in here, but in more of like who qualified. We have Rigid TSG, we have IEX, those we have Lip Unbound, Poison Ivy Achilles, or Atlas, Four Kings, OBS Main, Blackfire, IE Enrage SS, we have Rigid Phoenix, Pig Omni, Delta Main, VV Vitus, Hyper Vivre Esports, Four Valor Kings Main, Cosa Nostra, Leap Main, Falcus, KM2 Hades, VV Renatus, as well as RVH Gemini.
And those are the teams that we have for the playoffs. And these are the maps that we will be using tonight. Isolated, Blackout, and Isolated. So they are definitely know what to do already from this map. So I'm so interested to see how are they going to change their strategies, because we know for a fact that this is a knocked out stage where they're focusing on to their kill points, to their placement points as well, in order for them to be part of the grand finals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen so much of the teams really dominate the top of the leaderboard, and hopefully this reset would help those who were in the borderline, who managed to get across that top 10 for each group. And we know how grueling it was because a couple, or if not 3 teams in each of the group has been putting so much of effort and eliminating a lot of teams, putting in those victories as well, and it just stacked up against them. But now they only have 1 day's all groups smashed in together, and we might be seeing more aggression. I sure hope so, Super Clark.
That's something that I'm also expecting to all of them, because this is really different to where they just really need to showcase how good they are. We're not talking about only focusing on who will be the first one to have a lot of number of elimination, but also they need to consider how are they going to really secure the spot moving into the grand finals, but performing well and hoping to see a lot of aggressions from them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you did mention about the grand finals, though. In a bit, we're going to see, and we have been seeing it all throughout the group stages, on what is in stake or up in store for the teams once we get into the grand finals, because there's a new format that has been produced just for this tournament. But also in a few moments we're going to see the teams already jumping in to the map. This is the first game of the knockout stage. Isolated it is, and 20 teams dropping off already. A little bit of a hot drop action we might be seeing in Black Market as well as Frigid Wetland. And this is what I love about the first day where the groups has been combined, because they got too confident in or familiar in their previous drop spot, and if they didn't move away, especially as they are with Group A and B or a combine of Group A and B, there will be a lot that will be engaging early in this game.
That's something that we need to find out. Actions that were the one expecting to happen from the playoffs. And you were right, because a lot of teams that we are seeing right now are on the fragile wetlands. Some of the teams are the dormitory, to where they're focusing on to have their hands dirty, getting their own snowbee and definitely all of the juices that they found from each respective maps.
Yeah, let's see though if they will be able to grab all those juices as you mentioned. But not only do we have frigid wetlands, we also have Black Market right now, and a lot of teams. We've seen that from the drop spot earlier. A lot of teams has clumped up together. A lot of teams have seen early engagement, and it seems like we have FD Falcruz as well as Poison Ivy, who would be seeing each other. But as you can see, Poison Ivy is being quiet. They will be cautious, and shots into one player bring him instantaneously into the gulag. And this is it, the trigger for Poison Ivy to show the venom of their team.
Into the gulag we go. Poison Ivy doing some close quarter battle, and just like that, oh, he's the one being surprised. And here we go. That's gonna be the support. Can he get 2-piece? Is that gonna be 2-piece? Oh, there's another support from Valdrus. Great job with a 2v1 situation. And here we go. Can they annihilate them all? But he's the one going back into the gulag.
Yeah, we'll still have Gab into play, but Dre did manage to win that 1v1, and it was just back and forth. Great trade-off coming both of the teams. Now, we have KM2 as well as OBS right now, and similar approach from what we've seen in Poison Ivy. They are being silent. They are being cautious right now, and I won't be surprised if they get, like Ryu, if they get one knockdown, then everyone would be pulled in together. So hopefully they will be... Let's see now. I mean, I want to see that power. I want to see that power move in, or probably one uppercut, because you're talking about knockout stage.
Right, I couldn't agree more. Let's see if that's something that we can see from Ryu. But right now, this is going to be interesting. As you can see, they're just trying to size things up. They wanted to make sure that they're not really committing any mistakes, because this is going to be a crucial moment to where they really need to secure the spot into the grand finals. As you can see right here, even if they know already the location of their opponents, I don't see any aggression.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are being cautious because this is first match, and they want to go survive a little bit longer. They don't want to be eliminated early. Yes, there's still the gulag, but who wants to risk that? If you can use that option, if you can use that opportunity for a later game, for a later engagement, then I'm going to take that. So if I can be silent, wait for the opportunity, and this might be it. This might be it. L managed to go in for a takedown on Fry, and we saw Fry. He just jumped in there through the window, even through the wall, and it seems like AM2 is the one winning this gunfight.
Anticipation was the key, and because of that, Fry not able to cook. Right here, we are seeing all of the blue players pushing forward. Knockdown, Paul saying goodbye. Great job. Good trade happened from these two teams. In fact, we are seeing 3 soldiers remaining from KM2, and Reslick is hoping to grab the W so that he can definitely do some regroup for the rest of the team of KM2.
Yeah, let's see now. We have Blackfire. We've seen a little bit of engagement coming from Blackfire. Thus, they have 2 eliminations already. But with the chopper, they would be going in for the hunt. And you know how it is. At this point in time, we might be seeing some of the teams just waiting, anticipating where that airdrop would be coming in. And there's one thing that I wonder as well. Every time I watch teams play in Battle Royale, is there anything that they are doing to like understand the flight path? Where would be those airdrops be dropping? The arsenals, where will it be dropping? Because if you can anticipate that, you will have a one up already. And we keep talking about this. So once you have those arsenal, once you have those load up already locked and loaded, you're a little bit stronger into this game. And that's why some of the teams are getting head start in terms of points, because they're getting those loads out a little bit early.
Absolutely. And just to add on that point, they also know how to check the map and the last circle. So that's why slowly they're
Oh, yeah.
crawling to the safest place to where they know for a fact that this will be the last circle that we're gonna have in this match. So we keep on seeing a lot of teams being in advance in terms of position. But if we're going to talk about the mechanical skills, that's going to be the another important thing to consider, because if you have a better position, that's the time to where you showcase how good you are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mechanical skills is one of the basics. Knowledge of the games is another. So put them all together, we'll see the greatest team overall. Now, speaking of, we are seeing Rigid right now, one of the teams that really showed a great dominance in their own group. But as we can see as well, we have the Blackfire right now. Though there's not so much of contention, but there's also a few players who might be in the same area or in the horizon of their view, and they need to be careful. I think they lost their chopper earlier, but before we proceed with that conversation with Blackfire, we have Poison Ivy right now stinging VVB, and there goes Kuzma already down. Poison Ivy, despite of being outside of blue, they are still getting all those elimination. 9 in total, to be precise.
That will hurt them.
Uh-huh.
I can definitely say that, because we were only seeing DeRay outside of the zone and PJ able to do some reset from the Poison Ivy Team Atlas. And looking down from a different team, Immortals Esports, they got their own arsenal, being quick, buying their own loadouts from the buy station. And also Team P is also out there to where they are trying to rotate, and that's going to be Rigid Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, I was right. That's your Rigid Phoenix out there, also taking the advantage of all of the supply boxes available from this area.
Now, let's see though if they can take advantage of those supply boxes. So far, a lot of teams would need to take advantage of the time to get into the next phase, or let's say onto the smaller phase of the circle, because once you hang in there a little bit too low, a little bit too slow as well into getting into the final circle, then it might cost you all those HP. And you know how it is. Once you are being cooked by that zone, there's no recovery until you get in. But Lick right now would be taken down. Poison Ivy only left with 2. And it is RGD who is being that aggressive, just driving in and eliminating anyone inside.
They're fighting against the top teams from the Group B stage, and right now Slashy not able to slash his opponent, and into the gulag we go, and Kyle TC doing some reset after that hard fight. But let's see, but still Kyle TC not able to survive, and right there they're about to finish. They're about to be committed in cleaning out that mess, and true enough, Sekre able to send them all into the gulag.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a matchup, or I would say a round 2 might be happening once they get into the gulag in a bit. Now, 4 Kings, a little bit quiet in terms of the elimination department, but they are just making their way in the final circle. And you know how it is. There's still 18 teams remaining in this fight. Yes, you might not have a lot of elimination in this game, but if you can secure that victory in this match, then you can get that additional 10 points. And you know how it is. They are not passive when they get into final circle. They would be aggressive in getting a lot of elimination, and we've seen that happen from the group stages. But a lot of engagement, potential engagement might be happening right now, especially as some of the teams are just waiting for their opportunity as blue closes in.
Opportunity is the key. The reason why we are seeing the wings from the Falgers scouting, knowing the location of their opponents, and also getting a lot of damages. This might be it, and that's right. And Asa knows already when to hop off from the chopper and looking down from this location. I think he's focusing all of his energy right here to make sure to survive longer and have another chance to regroup.
Yeah, let's see though if they can regroup and probably buy a little bit more time. Leap at this point will not be leaping, not even moving, not even stepping. Because they have a good position already. They don't want to risk all of that. They want to be silent. And this is a leap main. And well, despite of how some teams or some teams in that same brand have been aggressive overall, there's a little bit of contrast that we are seeing in how each team is handling it. I'm loving it. It's not because you are part of the same brand, you have the same approach in every game. You can be different. You can be passive at some point and then move into a little bit of aggression, and at least you still having to survive once that happens.
Absolutely. We are seeing right now trying to survive
Oh
from the
no.
hands of Tom Pips after getting the first knockdown, getting 2 Ps this time at the edge of that rocky mountain and staying being cleaned up already. What a great job. Tom Pips clearly showing how focused he is, rocking 3 kills in total as a team, rotating, doing some reset, and they are not yet down. We keep on seeing another opponent's different 2 callers underneath them, and they got the advantage. High ground is the key.
Yeah, let's see though if they can use that advantage against Paul of RVH. But we are seeing 4 Valor Kings being chased down by the blue in Nuketown, or Nuke Plant rather. And we are also seeing another team on the other side. But as we can see, we have Loki right now
Ooh.
decimating a couple of players from Leap that has been silent overall. So I mean, valiant effort from them for surviving, but if it come to this, once they are in engagement and you are losing against 1 or 2 players, then you need to do a little bit more.
That's the carelessness, I should say, or maybe a bad decision being made already. It's evident from that last gameplay, but it is what it is. They just really need to move forward as we are seeing players of Immortals Esports going forward already inside of the circle.
Yeah, Babe Omni. 3 eliminations already, and 2 of which is on Hajime. Now let's see if they'll be able to spot out 4VK. The last time we saw 4VK, 4 Valor Kings, is they were being chased by the blue, and then they went in for a standstill as the next phase would be showing, as well as they're waiting, timing their movement. But I don't think Fave right now would be letting that opportunity go. They have good position and they have good cover as well, and it's just a matter of time. In a few seconds, we might see a little bit of engagement. There you have it from afar. XPR taking 1 player from 4VK, and as you can see, the rest of Babe rushes in. It seems like similar to what we've seen ants do when they smell food.
Oh, they're eating all of their opponents already. Oh my god, that was really a great execution. As you mentioned earlier, they're trying to look for a perfect timing, and true enough, paving their way and winning the battle. But right now, it's going to be quiet. It's kind of like a ceasefire from these 2 teams. As you can see, they're trying to be careful, but carelessness is the one that we are seeing from a different team, losing the battle from Team BVV, and also Costa joining the war. Delta is also out there. Bonnie hopping it off. Crazy battle that we are seeing on top of the hill, and Delix is not really being delicated, and also having a deluxe experience while flying around using that wings. So let's see what's gonna happen, because he's the only player alive right now.
I mean, he just went selfish at that point, which I agree. Let's see if that much would help the team right now, because Kosa still have a couple of players that would be able to gatekeep those who managed to take down some of their teammates. Now, you have Kosa, despite the losing, Kush go in for a dance, and it is Alien who managed to take him down. Now going in on a fight between Blackfire as well as BBB. There goes not so much of engagement. They were just waiting, but going into Rigid right now, they are farming elimination at this point. In this point of the circle is where everyone would be chaotic. 16 teams remaining, and not so much of challenge being brought in onto Rigid as Sekre has managed to got his 6th elimination.
Clearly showing how confident he is. As you can see, well, he is trying to knock down his opponents. Kind of like an easy. As you can see, there's no much effort from the Rigid TSG, but let's see how it goes because we're not yet done. I'm seeing 15 teams to go with 41 soldiers on boots, and they keep on doing the long range shot, taking the advantage of the high ground, even if they're getting some damages outside of the zone.
Yeah, let's see though if they will be able to secure this elimination against Instinct, and Instinct loses Instinct at that point. I mean, going against a lot of players of Rigid as well as a few players from Delta who's just waiting, but Jim Mule will be taken out. And this is what we keep seeing from the group stages. Once Rigid has been on a roll, they are just on a roll. They are on fire, and whoever they spot, they take down.
They're trying to be on top, and it clearly shows that they are doing their best, making sure that they will stay on fire. That's Rigid, and we are seeing 3 different colors right now. Leap and Bound is also out here going up to the hill. So let's see if they will be crowned as the kings of the hill. As you remember yesterday, Leap and Bound being the top 1 from the Group A stage. So the question there, how are they going to sustain that one? How are they going to give things up being part of the rank 1? But this time there's no Group A, there's no Group B. This is the only teams that we are seeing right now fighting and securing this spot moving into the grand finals. The question there, if you're going to fight to one of the top teams from any other group, groups from yesterday, this is going to be a different tactics.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see different tactics overall, but Lei has been taken down by Yato from 4 Kings. It was a long playing game, a long running chase that happened between 4 Kings as well as a Rigid, but it's just that 4 Kings has saved up on all those resources, and we also saw Super Jeff use an ice pick, hacking everyone in place, just disabling all their class right now. But let's see if that has cooled down already, because they might need it. And there's a somewhat final circle. Koro trying to run across that smoke, but will not be taken down. Red, though, has been taken on Yato, and 4 Kings, good position to take. They do have a cover, they do have the elevation, and I think, if from what you call it, they might be the next king of the hill.
The next king of the hill. Let's see how it goes because we still have 10 teams to go, 23 soldiers on boots. Also, just to let you know, this is going to be a great challenge. Clearly difficult from any other players because from the hill, there's a lot of edges, and some of the players are still at the edge of this Rocky Mountains. We are seeing some arsenals dropping down already from this location that they can definitely use as one of their advantages, getting their own loadouts, or maybe use it as a defense. That's the one that we are seeing from the Leap and Bound. And Burn adjusting, he knows already that he doesn't have any advantage in terms of the angle. So let's see, can he survive from the hands of 4 Kings? Can the 4 Kings be able to finish strong on our first round for this isolated map? And that is something that we need to find out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm quite surprised that we still have 7 teams remaining at this point. But, yep, the King of the Hill is being challenged, and it's still 4 Kings. But L right now, as well as Ryu, will be stepping in onto the battlefield. If they will be able to take down 4 Kings, then that would be a great advantage. But L has been taken down by Tom Pips. Even Restlick will be eliminated and knocked down by the blue end. It is 4 Kings who lost 3 other players. Only Tom Peeps remain, but a challenge on Rigid is not that not enough? Does Rigid manage to win that fight? Even IE is putting so much of fight. 25k. I'm not talking about gold right here. I'm talking about elimination.
I couldn't agree more because we are seeing that they're really on top of this hill, high ground, being clever on how to find the perfect opportunity, flanking, also being included from their play style. This time,
Oh.
how are they going to finish with a 2v1 situation? Surprise, surprise, not able to react.
Yeah, unable to react right now, and seems like IE Exodus getting that victory in this fight. And I couldn't say a decent amount of elimination is an understatement into what this team, Immortal Esports, has done in this game number 1.
Oh my god, they are insane and they're clever. I can't say that it's a lucky position because they plan things out from the very start. Like, you know, checking always the map, looking the position of the circle so that they can be the first one to advance in terms of position. And true enough, because we saw how good the position they're in and how they control the map alone, and definitely taking advantage of the perfect angle. And true enough, they managed to grab the victory at the very end. And this is the highlights of the match that we had, and we are starting off clearly a lot of chaos from the dormitory map because we are seeing OBS and KM2 trying to fight hard, but KM2 is the one being ready and able to annihilate a lot of players from the OBS. Same thing on checking a different location, like from the VVV and Poison Ivy Team Atlas, but and their surprises there, we saw how Redzid TSG controlling that situation even if they're outside of the zone. And also we keep on talking about having the high ground, and true enough, because of that high ground right off the bat, 4Kings got 3 kills on that last gameplay, and they continues like the Blackfire that we are seeing, and also taking the advantage of surprises just to make sure that they can get 1 kill point or somehow eliminating all of their opponents. And looking from the Kings of the Hill, brother, that's a lot of battle that we are seeing earlier, but that's the only first King of the Hill fight that we saw from the Frigid Wetland. After that one, as you remember, we ended the battle from the snowy Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of hills involved and a lot of potential of being the king of the hills. If I'm not mistaken, the teams that, the IEX did drop a little bit far into T3, and how they traverse is a little bit slow as well. But once they were in this moment, they were not giving an opening onto 4 Kings. They're just hanging in there on a very high, like the very top, and even popping a little bit of smoke so that their position would not be exposed. And once they have that perfect opportunity, 4 Kings lost a few of their players. All they have to do is wait. All they have to do is wait and take advantage of that. Apollo might have been lost, but they know that they'll be able to win this fight with their numbers, and victory they grabbed.
Absolutely, 100%. And we started with the high ground, but we saw Immortals Esports, how they control the lower ground. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Even if they got the lower ground, they managed to claim the victory. And that's why we are showing you the players, the team of Immortals Esports, Team Exodus, and checking in terms of their number of elimination. That's a lot, brother.
Yeah, well...
Not good with bad, brother. That's the reason why I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, well, in terms of math, I'll be able to do this. This is 29 points. 29 points. If
Good
in
job.
case Apollo did get that 1 elimination, then it could have evened up on to 30. And, I'm not quite sure what happened with Apollo at that point. Even in the final moment, he was the one being taken down. And just the rest, like Rinka, Glue, even Hasbu, making it into the fight. Now, let's see though, 12 elimination, our MVP would be Glue right now, and he didn't stick around that much. He was not a Glue. It seems like he was butter smooth as butter. And they're getting a lot of elimination, getting a lot of position, and he is one key factor that made that a win for the game.
Absolutely. Smooth like butter, like, getting a lot of kills, but he won't stop. He will stick around. And
Yeah.
because of that, he's definitely rocking 12 kills in total and being crowned as MVP. Great job, great battle. So I'm so interested right now, even if we know for a fact that Immortals Esports got the win at the very end. I want to see the rankings, the leaderboards for our first match, because this is the start of the playoffs to where we still have 5 matches to go that we can consider. And if some of the teams not able to perform and not having enough good positioning on the first round, this is going to be the chance to where what just happened, like talking about it, going back to the drawing board, what just happened in the first round, what are the things that we need to adjust, and how can we really perform well, because right now this is something that they really need to take note of, to where they need to make sure that they get a lot of eliminations, and plus the fact securing the top 3 rankings at the very end of any matches.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, if you secure at least the top 3, then it gives you more opportunity to rake in the placement points, and that's what we love. That's what we love to see at this point. As we look at the match rankings, you would see the lead. You would see how big the elimination is and how damaging it is in terms of those who follows. Like Rigid Phoenix, we saw a little bit of fire from them despite of like only a few players against 3 of IXDus. But this is one thing that surprised me. Blackfire, they were almost being taken out, but they did farm up a little bit more elimination, plus the placement point, even beating Poison Ivy as well as Rigid TSG, and even Four Kings, who was part of that final hill battle.
Right, and I'm expecting that they will be able to be crowned as kings of the hill on the last moment, because in terms of position, clearly they got the advantage. But the moment they being careless, because the only focus on the last part would be knocking down the players of Rigid Phoenix. That's from Tom Pips having, I can say, being confident with 1v2 fighting the 2 players of Rigid Phoenix. But while he's doing that, while he's focusing all of his energy to knock down those 2, someone from the back, like, doing some flank and taking the advantage, because it's an easy kill. And because of that, they lost the battle, and too unfortunate, they're not able to be crowned as champion. But congratulations still from Immortals Esports, because Team Exodus clearly got the W.
Yeah, I mean, they did get that dub, and we still have a few more games. And compared to what we've seen them, this is where they can work with momentum. This is where the teams can just go back to back to back to back to back. I hope I got that to 6. I hope I got the number right. But either way, there's no resting in between compared to what we've seen in the group stages. So they can feed off to that momentum, use that to their advantage. And since the map would be different overall, we would be having going into Blackout. That's the only momentum breaker that the teams would have. And guys, I know if I was looking back, we would be having an alternate map. So it will be corrected later on what the map is right now. So just expect that after Isolated, it will be Blackout, and then the rotation continues until we get into the 6th map.
And that's really a great challenge, talking about the alternate map from this playoff stage. That's something that Brother Neptune is talking about earlier, the momentum, right? Because it's different play style, it's different strategies that they really need to activate whenever they play on Isolated and Blackout. And after Blackout, they're gonna go back to Isolated, because to where like the one that we I keep on saying yesterday, they're doing some farming points before, but right now well, they can also do that in
Yeah.
Blackout because it's a dog tag gaming from the Blackout map. They can farm a lot of points, but they need to consider as well how are they going to really survive longer in order for them to
Mhm.
be part of the top three.
Yeah, I do agree. But hopefully the teams would be able to handle blackout, and I'm not talking like electricity going out, because there's a lot of that happening. Like, again, guys, for those of you in the Philippines right now, whether you're watching outside or staying in your place, take care. Keep safe because there's a lot that has happening. The weather is not that well, and hopefully you are not experiencing blackout because in a bit we're going to experience a different kind of blackout, a more exciting blackout, I would say. And this is where the teams would be going for that second match. You did mention that would be a little bit slow down, not so much of gulag, dark tag gameplay. That is what the teams would be working on. And also, there will be a little bit of prioritization in terms of chopper because earlier we didn't see that much in isolated. It's mostly it's mostly the snowboard gameplay teams had been taken advantage of. A few managed to take a couple of choppers, or in your words, wings. So I would love to see them prioritize, especially turbine. And if they didn't let go of those drop spot in group stages, we've seen a couple, if not three teams. This might include a few more. So I'm expecting like 3 or 4 teams on that eastern side of the map. But I will have to see now. We'll have to see. Ghost Town, I believe, is up for contention as well. And I would love to see who's taking over that Ghost Town.
This is a different team, though. Let's see if Four
Yeah.
Kings having, a chance to fight back to
Yep.
Casa. Who knows? Because Casa keeps on winning on a Ghost Down, fighting against Four Kings Overload. But let's
Yep.
see what's gonna happen because this is gonna be interesting. Like the turbine that Brother Neptune is saying earlier, but we still have a hot drop to where we keep on seeing Four Kings choosing to drop off to the construction site. So let's see who will be the team challenging them. And that might be an interesting battle, could be,
Yeah.
or the first chaos that we might be witnessing.
Yeah, like whoever will be fighting in construction site, take care of Foreman. All right, make sure that you don't hit Foreman. They need a little bit more job to do by tomorrow. But let's hear. We are now flying in to our second game of today from the north to the south, and well, Turbine is part of our flight path, and it's all geared towards the east. So whoever would be dropping or trying to drop in Nuketown Island would have a long way to go. But I don't think it would be difficult for the teams to reach that. I think they've known the flight path already, as well as how they can drop, so they can still reach the furthest that they can get.
Right, and we are talking about Four Kings earlier. Right now, I'm only seeing Four Kings in the construction site. Estates was the one right now having multiple teams, as you can see, one, two, three, four different colors that we are seeing from the
Yep.
map. And let's see what's gonna happen. This will be the worst, and like I just heard earlier, the moment we started the flight, well, first blood. That's the one that I just heard. Clearly having the first blood, too unfortunate. But yeah, this is the action that we are showing you in the States, and Fodrus on the high ground at the second level and on the roof as well. Some of the players of the Fodrus, how are they going to rotate? That is something that we need to find out.
Now let's see now this United States of Call of Duty Mobile, and let's see if this is one thing that they will be able to take advantage of. And there goes the shot. My bro!
My
Oh
God!
my God! Well, I'm seeing that there's a little bit of backup involved, but just having a pistol in front of going against in front of you, that is just something else from a bro out there. But Asta will be coming back after being revived or after surviving that scan, and let's see if they will be able to fight back and probably push the other teams who are in a state.
Right, and we're seeing earlier that Four Kings, after getting a lot of resources, they're checking out if there's any other teams, and because of that hack, it's clearly useful. A preparation and also gathering some info. And that intel is not being given because of that surprise attack coming out from Reslick of KM2. Great job, great surprise, and good trade happened right now. That's a counter coming out from the Founders with a 2v1 situation.
See though, Valtru's right now losing my bro, still my bro, and a pistol, my idol at that point.
Melody.
Melody, Melody, my bro. Now they will be taking advantage of this position, but hopefully those gunshots would not attract the attention of those in construction site. Because estate, you know how it is. If they have the chopper, they might be able to drop in or swoop in against a team, and vice versa. But I think Falcus would be pulling away, but shots onto them, and Asta will be knocked down. Good thing that Easy Dawn managed to jump away, and it is still KM2. Ryu, that aggression is still on fire. Not really letting go of the fight just yet. You take us down, we're going to take you down back.
Oh my god. Ryu earlier looking for a different Hadouken. That's a powerful Hadouken, I can say, because we are seeing elimination. And right now, Immortals Esports, third party. Faldrus is not moving any muzzle at all. Shockwave being activated just to find some intel if there any damage from this location, and no avail. So let's see how Easy Dawn will taking it easy in terms of his position. But right now you gotta be careful and ready to naff penetrating that building. He knows already tight space. Oh
no,
my god, Easy Dawn being a dog tag.
Easy Dawn just went down easy at that fight. Now, Immortals Esports, with their third elimination, back as a 4-man strong team, as well as with a little bit of somewhat full armor. Now, let's see if their rotation would give them a little bit more in terms of fight, because I'm seeing Carl is also in the battle on the other side right now. In the river, we have Leap, MJ, Dugo, and, well, haven't seen that much of engagement just yet. They're just roaming around. They are like, they see me rolling and they hating. That's what Leap is doing at this point.
Clearly having a great maneuver from these teams. So let's see what's gonna happen, because right off the bat I don't see any kill point yet. It only means that the focus would be getting a lot of resources and being ready for the FSJ. And right now they managed to find some good intel, and that's a great preparation. They know already how to push, because they know that they deactivated the classes of the opponents. Happens to be the VVV, and it was an easy cleanup from that huge mansion. And Kuzma, the only player trying to get away.
Let's see though if Kuzma will be able to get away, and this is difficult when it comes to this map. If you're alone trying to survive, it would be difficult, but it seems like Leap might not be able to see that much. And, well, 3 eliminations, I think they're good for the moment, and not be greedy. I guess. Not be greedy, just move into the next phase of the circle, and then they can start their roll.
All right. I like that. But let's see what's gonna happen, because I keep on sharing yesterday if there's any other teams or any other players who are thirsty for blood. It really depends on how are they going to strategize, because if you're thirsty for blood, definitely you will be looking for any bloodbath, which is one of the strategies that I'm expecting right now. We are in the playoffs. It only means that they need to get more annihilation. They need to have more points so that they can move forward to the grand finals. And moving forward, as you can see right here, 4K starting to get more blood going with 2 kill points already. So the question there, how are they going to really clean this place? Can they own this turf? That is something that we are about to witness.
I mean, if you ask me, I won't be cleaning this up. That is a huge mansion. I'm not used to huge spaces, man. I'm a shut in. I'm a poor guy. Couldn't afford this kind of mansion. But if 4 kings, well, definitely. I mean, having 4 kings, you would have that much as well. But speaking of 4 kings, Tom Pips will be coming back, and they will still be going in for the chase against Fabe. Now, Koro will try to move away, in spite of getting that much shot. With only 1 more on armor, HP would be next. He's trying to marshal in his way out from shots from Four Kings. Now, let's see if they will still be going to chase. The next circle would be showing up, and it goes down a little bit into firing range as well into array. So hopefully they move down, because once they lose real estate, then they might be gunned down later on once the gatekeeping starts.
Right, and we are seeing Team C earlier getting closer from the location of that circle. That's the very end, and that's the best thing that you can do. You have to think in advance, because it really works, like the Immortals Esports Exodus on the first match. Because from them, they managed to grab a better position in it. At the very end, they managed to capitalize. So, speaking of having a better position, let's see and find out for Pay team right here. They lost one teammate, but right now it's an open area, snowy Rocky Mountain earlier, and they got a better position. Same thing with the Four Kings main team.
Yeah, I mean, the Four Kings right now just moved back to where they were, and it's a good way for them as well to get in position. So no one might be seeing them just yet, but for the teams of Kosa, they are being silent. No eliminations at this point, just prioritizing on their weapon. And this is what I love. Even when I play Blackout, I love using that FHJ, because you know that there will be some teams that would be going in for the vehicle gameplay because how big the map is. And that's a huge advantage. If you have that FHJ on you, you can either taunt or just simply take them down. Especially if the chopper is involved, then that's where you start gunning them out.
That's why I'm so being lazy in playing Blackout map, brother. anticipating that someone is out there having the FSJ, and it's crazy for me to drive around the map using any vehicle. So it's like,
Bro,
I'm so afraid that someone out there will target me with the FSJ.
well, let's play. I'm going to be your driver in the motorcycle, or vice versa. Like I can be the ones in the FHJ, and we'll just roam around and wreak havoc in Blackout. But speaking of wreaking havoc, we are seeing the same team, which is Pave right now, going against not only Four Kings, but also IE at this point. And I'm quite surprised, though. The Four Kings managed to get back in here, but unfortunately, they lost Super Jeff. They need to bring him back, because Get is already on his way back. But some peeps might be seeing a little bit of surprise. But no! Goes in for a rewind. Smart move as well as goes for the timing. Missed an opportunity for him to scan that dog tag at the same time as Get will be coming back. Now, Blackfire is on the other side. 9 elimination already, despite of not seeing them so much in the battlefield. That's how stealthy Blackfire is.
I couldn't agree more. And speaking of stealthy, let's see if VVV will be stealthy enough, but no avail with 3v1 situation. That's clearly an ambush from the rigid TSG. And meanwhile, we're seeing Four Kings right here. It's kind of like a ceasefire, trying to take some time to complete all of the attachment from their weapons. And you gotta hold on onto the high ground, because we are seeing Immortals Esports and Get able to find some good intel, doing some long range, trying to connect a few shots, and also being committed, cracking out that vest, but no avail still. So that's why he decided that, nah, I don't want to waste my energy to this kind of battle. I just really need to be inside of the circle.
You know, there's one thing that you have to do when you're too much committed. You need to make your visual a little bit wider. Because, like, if everything goes committed, then it would be narrow. It would be hyper-focused. Because it's makitid at this point. So let's see now if they'll be able to make anything work, and how narrow their vision is, or their focus is, or if they can widen out their view. Because as you can see, the next phase of the circle is wide in the open. Not so much of a compound to work with.
And this is one of the key features of the Blackout map, and all of the players are really trying to understand how are they going to have a great defense and a better offense at the same time if they're fighting any other teams on this open area. So that's why we're seeing that they're really looking for a position to where they can use this kind of use rock as their cover. If there's someone trying to push them, and here we go. That's a great defense that we are seeing from OBS Paul, revealing the position early, so he needs to be ready. He knows for a fact that in no time there will be any push from his position, and here we go. Apollo, open area. Casa is now saying goodbye. That's one thing I can say, a difficult situation because there's no any cover, there's no any great defense, and Kuzma and Rigid Stellar fighting against OBS, and they managed to knock down.
Yeah, I mean, Paul was just a little too aggressive. Yes, he has a few backup from his teammates, but I think that was too much. Now, MJ right now, like that, coming from that prone to a standing shot, he managed to go in for a takedown against KM2, even finish them off, and they were burnt alive. They will be a full squad in a bit, and they have 7 eliminations already, but the blue closing in. Let's see and how quick they can recover, but Yato trying his best not to be taken down because it's difficult to recover at this point because of how deadly the blue might be coming in. Even Get would be scanned in a bit, or rather, Get would be scanning in a bit, bringing Super Jeff back, and they are off to their 6th elimination. 4 Kings right now. The Wonder Kid Get is back in play, but I just want to see that 1v1 between the Wonder Kids, Get and Dugo, because these kids are something else.
Wonderfully done from that close quarter battle. That's insane. Can you imagine? He's Get earlier just trying to focus, trying to repair his armor, but no, I don't have any time for that one, and trying to do his best to win the close quarter battle, and indeed he won the battle. Because of that, they are having 6 kills in total, and as we speak right now, there's no any action because we still have 11 teams to go, and also 37 soldiers playing into the battlefield. So let's see who will be the team grabbing the W at the very end. As you can see, the circle is definitely shrinking, brother.
Yeah, let's see though. Let's see if this is something that they'll be able to work out of, especially for side of Rigid right now. You've seen how strong they were in the previous map, but for 4 Kings, seems like that's it. That might be it for the 4 Kings themselves. Or we might be seeing a little bit more, but no! Tom Pips has been taken down! The 4 Kings dethroned! And we still have 8 teams remaining. Rigid right now, after getting that victory, are still on the roll. Delta would be their target, and as well as Pay.
Finding that groove already, attacking, and also taking or being awareness from the damages that they're getting outside of the circle. That's the individual prowess being showcased by the Rigid TSG. Meanwhile, seeing a different team right now, staying at the edge of the safe zone in front of them. That's going to be Team Delta. But on the pave, though, Karo is the only player, and the only choice that he has is to stay longer inside of that tight space, just hoping to survive and being part of the top 3 for the placing points. Let's see what's going to happen.
Let's see though. I mean, Pave Goro, we've seen that him work this out, and if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the group stages when I was casting, he was just hanging in there, in between the rock or probably in between the tree, but he was not seen. And this is here his signature. He was just stealthy.
Great memory, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that old. I am old. I am old, definitely. But yeah,
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that.
I'm not that old yet to lose my memory. I can lose my mind, but not that much of my memory. Anyways, going into Blackfire right now, 12 elimination at this point, and we still will be seeing 12 teams left, and there goes the takedown. And it's been a while since I've seen a defender being used, but it was not used at the best timing because there's a lot of Blackfire going against him.
open area. That's a lot of spaces. Although
Mm,
you have a defender, it's kind of like slowing down your survivability on
yeah.
that situation. But checking back the situation in Blackfire, they're still on the open area, trying to find some good intel using the scope of that sniper. Now they can definitely adjust or somehow rotate, going to the left or going to the right. But they need to be aware because they need to watch their six. We are hearing some vehicles right now coming closer from the rigid TSG, and just like that, Nash DC revealing his position right away. And Stellar, he knows that one, and he's one of the star players of the rigid TSG.
Yeah, let's see though. As you can see, 13 elimination, not so much of contention. It is Blackfire against Rigid at this point, though we have 7 teams remaining, some of which probably are less than a full squad. So they're just being silent, they are being quiet right now and taking advantage of the opportunity to survive longer as Rigid and some of the teams from the higher ground is still alive and kicking. But speaking of kicking, RVH Kyun trying to put someone down as instincts need to be picked up. And, well, I guess for RVH, they need to pull away from this potential engagement. Recover, wait for the perfect timing, and that's when they might win the fight.
Absolutely. This is going to be interesting. As you can see, all the teams right now doesn't have any choice but to use all of their utilities, putting some cloud of smoke for them to have some adjustment in terms of position, great cover, staying at the edge of the safe zone, taking or capitalizing that high ground on top of this hill, mid-hill battle, trying to do some long range. Those are the gameplays that we are seeing right now from the last part, the last moment of the Blackout map. So let's see how it goes, because in terms of Immortals Esports position, RVH, VVV, and Delta, they got the advantage. They can definitely win the battle against Rigid TSG, but who knows? Let's see how it goes. We're still talking about mechanical skills right now, penetrating this building. Oh my god! Getting 2Ps out there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's more than eating a chicken, but 3 teams remain right now. They're not chicken. They are not backing away. And Blackfire right now with 17 elimination and
my
even
God.
getting that victory, breaking the potential back-to-back of one team. And we've seen them very quiet, but now they made that noise. They made that fire into a blaze, and they brought the blackness in this Blackout map. A victory for Blackfire with a lot of elimination to boot.
Oh my god, clearly on fire. And that's the key of being in a dance. I talked about it earlier. Like, they know already where to go, checking the map always, and they adjusted. They slowly crawling into the position of the circle, and true enough, they managed to capitalize because they managed to control the high ground, fighting at first to the rigid TSG, and after that one they managed to rotate and then able to penetrate. And that's the key of having a great defense if you're inside of the building. And speaking of inside of the building, brother, highlights that we are seeing a lot of close quarter battle inside of any buildings and getting a W from any close quarter battle. Rigid Esports trying to dominate with the 3v1 situation from the VVV, and after that one they do some reset and checking the open area from the Immortals Esports, winning the position as well. OBS losing the battle from Rigid TSG. VVV and KM2 clearly showcase how good they are rotating, but they are being surprised from the lead main team. In fact, Burn was able to manage to get a knockdown, and this is the time to where we saw how good Get is in getting a knockdown. In fact, he got 2Ps out there from the open area, and because of that one, a better position, a better rankings from the 4 Kings. But this part is not yet the end, because that's the only mid part of the battle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a mid part of the battle, and it seems like the 4 Kings didn't even survive towards the end, and that was tough because it's like what I'm seeing from how it is they were chasing for elimination. They're trying their best for 4 Kings to get as much elimination as possible, but unfortunate for them, once they are playing with that blue, and as well as the other opponents who's trying to gatekeep them, it makes it difficult for them to move. And I don't think they are ranked up that high as well. And well, let's see. But now let's congratulate Blackfire once again, Nash, Luki, Red, and Nia. Now they do have, let me try to do my math, 19 elimination at this point, so 29 in total points just from Blackout. It adds up to what they did earlier, because they did manage to get as much as possible from Isolated, and now they are very close, hopefully close enough to tie up or catch up with IE.
Let's see how it goes in terms of the overall rankings, because that's something that I'm so interested to see what it looks like to our leaderboards, seeing how great the performance of Blackfire Red by being the MVP, as you can see, with the 7 kills in total. So they're bleeding black and red, and at the same time, as you can see, that's the black and white that we are seeing, which is clearly showcased the theme, the colorways of our graphics. The black and white and the red, and just like that, we are showing you the match rankings. As you can see, 29 total points from the Blackfire, followed by the Rigid, TSG, and I want to see what it looks like for the overall rankings for the 2 matches have been finished already, because IE Exodus, they got a good start, but right now they're at the 4th of this match ranking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 4th, and it's tough though, because even push further, there's a potential that Blackfire will be able to probably catch up or overtake them. But judging from the number of eliminations Blackfire has compared to what we've seen earlier, then it seems like IE Exodus might be able to maintain their #1 spot on the overall standings. But for the rest of the teams, like OBS Main, Rigid Phoenix, unfortunate for them not grabbing that much point, and that's the threat. Even Hyper Vivre Esports, but as we go into the overall standings right now, IE Exodus still on top, 9 points in difference between them and Blackfire. Rigid would be 10 points, as well as IE and Rage with 11 points. Now it's quite far between the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then IE against 4 Kings, only 3 points between them.
That's really a good position, I can say, because we're looking for 16 teams. As you can see from the rankings, 3 teams got the same total of points. So it only means that they just really need to be consistent and do more after this match, because we're done with the 2 matches already. And like the one that we are sharing earlier, this is the alternate matches that we're gonna have for this playoffs, and in no time we're gonna go back to the isolated map.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, isolated map would be our next game, and well, I'm loving this. A different team taking the victory in different maps. I don't want a back-to-back. You know my feeling about back-to-backs. I want other teams taking that spot, putting their banner on the board, and that only shows that the contention as well as the challenge is that tough. So we are just like in the early parts of the day, but we've seen how close it was, even for those who are eyeing for that 16th spot. And you are correct, the teams might not need to aim for the #1 spot, but at least get enough points to get above the 16, and they might be safe to get back tomorrow.
That's how you strategize. That's how you think and be smart enough. How are you going to come up with a better number of total points so that you can secure the spot going into the grand finals?
Yeah, let's see though. But we're going to go for a quick break. When we return, more battle continue. Once again, I'm Neptune Benjamin Garcia, joined by Super Clark. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, and this is Call of Duty Mobile Garena September Cup 2025 Battle Royale. So far, we've seen two matches already, and two teams has dominated the game. It is IE Exodus as well as Blackfire. Will there be another team dominating each and the four remaining games in this day of knockout stage? I am Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by the one and only Super Clark, and we'll be your casters all throughout the day.
Oh, thank you so much. And there's something that I'm thinking earlier because we have the black and white, we have the red one, like you can see from the graphics that we are showing you, black, white, red, same colors from the logos of IE Exodus and Blackfire. I am manifesting right now to see some other colors of the logos. It might be blue, it might be orange, who knows?
Yeah. Well, let's see though, because so far, once you manifest, you need to think so much to win this game. But you know how it is, when you're manifesting something, it shouldn't be that thick. It shouldn't be that thick.
Okay,
Pag
all right.
manifest, dapat hindi makapal. Ika nga in Tagalog. So, that's what the teams need to do right now. But looking at the top 16 teams, out of 2 matches, we still have yet to see Cosa Nostra, Vor Valor Kings, as well as Hyper, Vibra Esports, and OBS Main do their work.
A lot of work needs to be done, as you can see from the playoffs overall rankings, and we keep on talking about the colors of the logos from the 2 matches, and I'm expecting a lot from any other colors that we still have: the red, the orange, the green, the blue, and the white for Delta Main. And if you remember, Pave Omni also won the battle from the group stages, and that logo is white. And if you can see all of the logos, the colors, we keep on kind of like we have a trend. We have white, we have blue, we have black and white, we have orange and red and yellow. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like all of the same colors. So that's why I wanted to see a different color moving into the match 3, to where we'll be coming back into isolated.
All right, and apologies for some of the teams, because I know IE has 2 of the teams representing their brand, but like if you want to get another, say it's not IE Exodus, it's IE Enrage. So IE Enrage, if they get that victory, they would be messing me up right now in what I'm manifesting, because I'm manifesting wherein different teams will be taking the board, and I'm just hyper focusing on that right now. But let's see though, we are going back to isolated, and let's see if some teams would be showing up this time around. Again, fingers crossed that either IE Exodus or Blackfire would be getting victories. No hate, guys. I just want to see other teams perform.
That's true.
Yeah.
We are seeing also, and as we all know, KM2. I'm not sure with the logo color, but I keep on seeing them being on the slot number 10, to where it is letter J and the color is blue. I don't know, bro. I don't know if the blue will be enough to see on the last part of the battle, to where we might be seeing a different color, a different logo, a different team.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, blue. I think you're wearing a little bit of blue on you as well, because you're also part of that blue community. So we are going in onto our 3rd map. This is isolated and same teams overall. Now I want to see some teams really rock it on, and hopefully this second game in isolated would show different drop spot for some of the teams who failed. Well, I hate the word, but failed miserably in that first game, because if you failed miserably, then it means that there's a lot of things that they need to work, and hopefully they were able to talk it over during that break.
And that's crazy. I don't know if there will be any crazy performances moving on to the 3rd match. That's something I am excited to see, because looking at the map right now, brother, we're seeing some of the teams going down to Sanitarium. As we all know, Sanitarium makes you crazy.
Well, that should be named as Insanitarium. Sanitarium, like I've seen the craziness. I'm saying I've seen the craziness from the group stages at this point. A lot of teams dropping in here, it made them crazy. So Sanitarium is, well, technically it's somewhere that makes you sane. But from what I want to see, I want Insanitarium. I want players. I want a team to go insane, to go and lose their minds in each of the battle. But look at the flight path right now. I think a lot of teams will be losing their minds as well as losing time because it's heading down south of our isolated map.
Are they going to lose time just like that? Losing the time right away from this battle. We're seeing Leap making an entry. The first blood from this match, as you can see right here. But a good trade happened right away because Aspect, we don't expect that coming. But Bunny, even if he hop off onto the roof, he's crawling onto the ground.
Yeah, I mean, definitely rubbing those bums on the ground right now, and then they go straight into the gulag. But they still have two players to boot, and there's still a good chance they can relocate at this point. But OBS as well as KM2 in this fight, Ryu might need to take advantage of that chopper that's already on them, or similar to what we've seen in VVV from the group stages, they were just waiting for the opportunity, the moment that the other teams try and grab that chopper. That's where they pounce on them. So, but KM2 might have shown a lot already, those footsteps, those gunshots, and might be a threat to OBS. So let's see if OBS will be taking that. But as we go into Delta, some of the players like Bunny, from what we've seen earlier, has been taken down in Frigid Wetlands, and now they are taking Insanitarium against Falcros.
This is going to be interesting. Two teams, as you can see, playing in the sanitarium building, you just really need to know where to go and how to control the room. As you can see, oh my god, there's a C4 out there from the entry of that little room. So that's how you be prepared. That's how you become ready, because you are definitely expecting that someone will be getting closer or somehow manifesting that it will work, brother.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, hopefully it's not that C4 is not thick enough to take him out in case it explodes. I don't know if it's a misclick or it's just a timing, but it seems like he has waited for a very long time and that C4 just went off. But Delta right now, because of that explosion, would be left by Faldrus, and shots by Gecko TZ would push Faldrus away. On the other side, we're seeing a lot of engagement happening. RVH against Hype. We've seen a few of Four Kings as well in the fight. But RVH, it seems like they're winning against Hype Vivere Esports. So I want to see on how Hype Vivere will try to recover after that, because looking at them, they're currently in the 19th spot, and I know it's tough to go against tough teams or strong teams just like this, but they've already done it in the group stage, and they're just continuing that journey into knockout stage. But for Gecko TZ, he's no lizard. He would be on fire like a dragon. Woo! On a huge teat, but Faldrus seems like the winner of this fight, and Gab will be picked up, though Asta and EasyDon will be brought into the Gulag. I think there's a good chance that they can come back and recover.
Oh my god, speaking of recover, we're seeing KM2 Ryu trying to recover the hell by winning this battle. Though, I just wanted to share an OB, an out of topic from the dormitory map, brother, because I think they're not able to make it actually from the playoffs. I'm talking about FX Academy, because this is going to be their turf, if you're going to ask me. FX Academy requires a dormitory, but I don't see them joining this playoffs. Misses the chance, dude, rotating from this dormitory now.
If you'll be an academy, definitely you will need a dormitory, and unfortunate for them, I mean, their dean wasn't able to hold on to their spot. And that's what, I mean, academy, they've lost their dormitory. Now let's see though if they can find something else, a different university, a different place to start that education. But speaking of education, BBB Kuzma educated and taught how not to go against a shotgun, and Tazan right now with that ice pick goes for a scan, identifying two of the players, and you know, once there's an assassin in the mix, you would be going down.
That was clearly a BY15 shot to where for me it's really hard to use. I don't know. When it comes to movement, I don't have that. When it comes to aim, I don't have that. When it comes to lucky move using the BY15, that one I have.
bro, bro. I mean, that's one reason when I play, especially in the legendary. In battle royale, I often get legendary. Don't ask me about multiplayer, but in battle royale, I often get there. And one thing that caught the opponents off guard is they're expecting quick movements, like fast moves coming from me, and then that's where they're surprised because I'm just walking, jumping, not even sliding that much, and there says, "Why is my shot not landing?" It's because you're trying to treat me as a pro. I'm not a pro. I'm a noob.
That's why I keep on saying whenever I go live, I keep on saying to all of my viewers saying that, oh, I got a fake BY15. It doesn't connect. It doesn't connect, bro.
This- I mean, probably his like buckshots in there. Not buckshots, but salt shots.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, let's see though. You need to check out your loadout. You might have a different ammo on your BY15. That's
Could
why.
be, could be, could be.
Now, as you can see right now, still have 20 teams remaining, and finally, Rora paying for VK back because 4BK did take him down earlier, but now he managed to take his revenge. For IE, at this point, they're being silent, and this is something that we've seen often for some of the teams, but with Enrage, who's not really that enraged at this point, I guess they have a good chance in getting the placement, but not so much in elimination compared to Exodus. So let's see if that would change later on. But speaking of Exodus, they are on the roll, chasing it down OBS, and shots on OBS might trigger this onslaught.
Let's see how it goes because in terms of position of Exodus, they got the high ground. Looking at it, looking and scouting the position of their opponents with a 2v1 situation, that's going to be a lot to take. That's why we're seeing OBS Paul not able to react right there. He clearly doesn't have any chance, even if he still have another opportunity to back down and rotate and find a great cover, but no chance at all. Seeing this location with the blue color of KM2, i.e. Exodus is out there, Blackfire after winning the last match. Let's see if they can be able to be consistent in terms of performances, because right now they're doing some third party slowly crawling in from this location. Let's see if that's going to be effective enough to annihilate these two teams. And OBS Fry cooking already. Can he get two pieces? Oh, he decided to back away.
Well, definitely. I mean, he's low on armor, and he expecting two players. And well, let's see if he'll be able to use a shockwave as well, if in case he will be chased. But Fry is on a solo mission. Quasi is a little bit too far, and all those gunshot is pulling even 4 Kings in this place. KM2 seeing that, and one of the players will be taken down. It is X, as well as Ryu would be eliminated by Tom Peeps. And I'm not quite sure though if there's still a few players, and I'm seeing one though from KM2 that's still alive, who pulls away in just in time to probably revive the rest of the team.
Which makes me amazed. I know for a fact that they're using a better earphones, brother, because whenever they heard gunshots, that's the time they're quickly rotate from that location to where they're just gonna do either third party or surprise them up.
Yeah, I mean, or they're just hungry. I mean, whether it's a faint or a loud gunshots, they just want to go in for the battle. Apollo! Great move to move away from Nia in perfect timing, but Lou's closing in, and he has received damage. Apollo will not survive that long, and he will be taken down. For OBS, they managed to pull away, but Sue for Jeff right now, a little bit of save on to some of the players from 4 Kings and managed to take down the couple from a Blackfire. Now, let's see if he can survive this fight. Ge is on his back, or on his way back, as Tom Peeps as well as Yato would be going in from the blue line. Now, Nash is still alive and kicking. I'm not sure if he doesn't have that sniper on him. Might be able to take down Super Jeff, but he don't want to risk it. Otherwise, it would be a 1v1 outside of blue, and that's not a place that you want to go right now.
That's correct, because of the damages that you are getting from the fact as aside from the fact that you really need to be inside of the zone, as
Oh
that's
no.
the one that we are seeing right now. Super Jeff is really my brother from another mother, as you can see, trying to honor do some great movement in terms of Snowby just to rush in and be inside of the zone to avoid any further damages. But who knows? Going down and checking out a different team already from the mid hill, going up to the hill, seeing Alien from Immortals Esports taking the advantage in the air shot, cracking out at best with the great help of his teammates, but no avail. Still not enough to knock him down.
Yeah, it's difficult if you go against an alien at this point, and you know how it is. They might teleport into their spaceship and just get back with a full squad. Now let's see if that is something that would be happening. But Kosa, right now, another set of teams, another set of players that has been so deadly, not just inside but also outside. And let's see if they will be able to defend from Call of Duty Mobile VVV. But they are being cautious. They have the higher ground advantage. They have oversight against VVV, but it seems like they are not pushing that much. Just waiting for a time until the next phase would be showing. At least they would have a better position. But speaking of better position, some peeps might be spotted and Kosa might be taking him out. Now, let's see where the other player, Four Kings, is, and can they regroup later on with some of the weapons in play?
Let's see and find out, because that's going to be hard for Tom Pips. He's just having a sandwich situation right now and able to realize that he's definitely too far from his teammate. But looking down and checking out different teams, Kush saying goodbye already. They're on a move, pushing. Raph is the next target, dancing around, dodging all of the bullets, but that's not enough move, or Marcelin move, as we all say in Filipinos. And that Marcelin move, not enough for him to survive. And checking out VVV after getting that kill point, they're trying to chill, they're trying to do some reset and making sure that there's no any other teams or opponents might be closer to them or push because of the gunshots that they made.
Now, let's see though if there will be any pushes that will be made at this point. Rora with the rest of VVV trying out gun leap, but Rora goes down. Only one remains for VVV, and it's a very difficult position. Though we still have a lot of teams, plenty of potential for them to come back after that gulag. But they will be losing all those cash, all those weapons that they have gathered from the looting phase. But Islao with a jump by Karma, and Islao not only will be slowed down, but he will be taken down as well. Now back to the Four Kings. After the damage that they felt, they are now back in play, and I guess they recover a little bit as well with their weapons. So let's see how they can position, but I'm pretty sure it will slow down their gameplay at this point.
They can definitely do some reset from that map, and that's the one that we are seeing from the Four Kings. And moving on to a different team, to where we're seeing Fodgers hopping off, jumping all around from the edge of this rocky mountain, because they know for a fact that someone is out there who happens to be Rigid Esports, TSG, and Rigid Phoenix at the same time. So that's why they're taking good care of their position. The question there, how long are they going to stay, and how long are they going to really have a better position, or can they find a perfect moment to where they're going to attack, or they're just going to stay here and patiently wait for the opponents to close out the gap and finally deciding to attack and clearly getting the win?
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, those questions: how long are they going to stay? How long are they going to react? It sounds like a bad relationship. But let's see though. It's something that would change later on. For Poison Ivy, Kyle TZ, who might not be in the best position, but have a good chance to recover teammates with 50 HP remaining. Just goes in and has been taken down by Nash. You know how it is. Once you have that TZ on your name, it means you're strong, but it seems like it goes against, without saying, both has the same last name at that point, who took out each other.
That's crazy, and that's one strategies that you need to take risks of, especially if you don't have any option, if you don't have any choice to where.
Whoop.
knowing that you need to buy back your teammates, and that's the only decision that you can make to where you need to go to the buy station. And that's what we saw clearly enough. It's risky. Same thing with
Mm,
the POV that we are showing you earlier, Secret. Although it's a risky gameplay trying to connect from afar, revealing the position, that's the dangerous decision that you can make, but it's only good thing for him because I don't see any players coming in and closing out the gap from the
yeah.
position of Stellar, and that's really a good thing. But looking at the map, this is clearly a squad versus squad versus squad. So Rigid, Fadrus, and Leap, and underneath Leap, there's another team. So that's why we're seeing Rigid right now finding some, I can say, moment to where they can clearly say, hey, this could be the perfect time. Hey, we're confident right now to attack. Let's see how it goes if they can manifest winning this fight against the complete squad of Faldrus.
Well, let's see now. If they can manifest at this point, it seems like it would be a tough battle. The armors are thick, and it's difficult to be manifest at this point. Now, Rigid
Oh,
would be spotted by Faldrus, but bro, hit once, but managed to survive. Here comes an ice pick once again that disrupts a lot of teams in this engagement. But Rigid right now, well, they are just waiting for the opportunity to decrypt that hack and probably get back in play, but it's just unfortunate that they lost one of their players. Now, as we look into most of the compounds, RGD, a different kind of Rigid, would be seeing Push, who just went in there blindsided, and onto the other side would be Leap as well in a fight against FD or Faldrus. Now, Leap would need not only to leap, but need to jump, skip, and hop onto this battlefield, into the zone. Void trying to avoid, but couldn't let go. And the smoke would be released. Backing away, recovering an HP, backing as well as he goes in and topping up that
oh my
armor.
God.
But there's still a lot of teams, Clark. There's
Oh
still
my
a lot
God.
of teams.
This is clearly a chaos. This is the place to where we can say that this is a war zone. In fact, Leap Sato getting some damages. VVV7 getting down already. Blockfire is also doing their best. Oh my god, a lot of abilities, a lot of actions going on. Easy getting the win, and Karma is also getting that kill point. Cost of them outside of the zone. He got no choice but to be inside of the circle. This is gonna be insane because I'm thinking earlier that this is gonna be the last zone, but it is not yet. They still have some spaces to play in, but looking at the map right now, a lot of colors in the same location, so this might be a quick one. This is the battle that I keep on wishing to see, because this is clearly the skills that we are expecting to all of the players, to where we'll be able to see how can they be able to control the situation, how are they going to capitalize, because this can be hard and a lot of things can happen just like that. Close quarter battle from the 4 Kings, 13 kills in total, going outside, getting inside of the circle, a lot of playstyles that they can make, a lot of things that they can strategize, but at the end, brother, who will be the team to grab the win?
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, I was looking at them earlier, and those, despite of solo, he's still in a plural state. He's still in a plural. He is alone.
I get that.
But
He
is not technically alone because we are calling him them. But get right now, M4. M4 LMG. Well, a little bit spray, but not praying against Leap at this point. They have better position, I would say, in taking them down. Not so much of a low, position for them, and they still have that little bit of elevation to spot out Leap. But for Stellar as well as Fry, they are in trouble. Out of 4 teams remaining, they're stuck in the middle, and it seems like 4 Kings will be gunned down through the wall. Tom Peeps trying to survive, but with that, I guess that is a throwable coming from Leap in perfect timing as well as perfect aggression. They're bringing down the 4 Kings one at a time.
Oh my god, yeah, with the counter after having a lot of better positions and misses some shots and just like that. Oh my god, Gez out there. Fry is about to go.
OBS!
Oh, Fry being the the chef that was crazy insane in getting the victory.
Oh my god. I mean, out of 4 teams, Fry was the ones of the solo player in that final circle. And he just bided his time. He just waited for the perfect opportunity. And even outside blue, well, he stepped out a little bit outside of that blue or as it closes in and just targeted again because of the onslaught, the gunshots, and the fights that has been happening all throughout. That's just OBS putting their name on the board. The only question though, Clark is, or Super Clark, will they have enough elimination to push their team higher on the leaderboard?
Oh, that's going to be interesting because overall rankings, OBS clearly at the bottom. So, because of these great performances, can they make it to the top 16? That's something that we need to find out. And I'm really loving what we are seeing from this match because we saw a lot of actions. I don't see any passive gameplay. The only passive, not really passive, because right off the bat when we start the match, I'm hearing first blood, right? So it's kind of like, what is going on? We just came back to the isolated, and yeah, we keep on seeing some close fight, and clearly a lot of aggressions happening all over the map, and clearly showcasing how good they are. In fact, brother, from the last zone earlier, I'm expecting that someone will be hacking, maybe one of the role player of that hacker being caught off guard. So that's why we don't see any hacking. It's kind of like they're using their own instinct how to get a better position. But looking at and looking back for the OBS earlier, brother, he's kind of like, go ahead, fight each other. I'll be waiting for the perfect time. I know for a fact that I can win easily once you have a lot of damages from your opponents. And true enough, brother, that's the one that we saw, right?
Yeah, I mean, Cal TZ being taken up by Nash from a long range, and it's not even an angle to take, but you know how it is. Once you're a sniper, you have the long range opportunity, and Nash is one of those guys, even from a past, even from a previous tournament, who have that capability from a long distance. Now, we seldom see that happen these days. Even from the beginning, there's only a few snipers that is very proficient at this point, and I want to see more of that. Because I tried my best as well as being a sniper. Yes, I'm landing them shots. I'm doing some trick shots as well, but the moment they get close, that's where I am done. And when they get close, I switch my gun a little bit slower, and that's where they're pushing me down. But not OBS main, especially with Fry cooking at this point with 11 elimination, plus 3 from Claudie, 2 from Paul, and 1 from Quasi. This is a decent amount of elimination at 17, plus at 10 points for that placement point. That's 27, and this pushes them up on the board.
Fry being the chef, cooking 11 opponents from the battlefield. And I love this is the first time I noticed, brother, when we shown the match ranking winner. I saw the jersey that I'm using, and I know for a fact 100% that you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
The powerhouse, brother. The powerhouse. I miss them.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with that, especially during their reign in a different mode, in MP mode. So that's like, it just shows how well they have scouted one of their players for the side of OBS. But yeah, I do agree. If you have seen that like a jersey
there
for
we go.
one player coming from a different team, then that's where like it's evident that they have been scouting best players overall. But speaking of best players, OBS main 17 elimination overall, plus that 10 placement point with a total of 27. But following close is Leap main team with 24 total points. The same goes with the 4 Kings. It's just unfortunate they were second place in that battle, in that bout, but they were targeted by Leap, and that was just what OBS main took advantage in that fall moment.
Right, and I'm expecting earlier that at the very end we will be seeing leap and bound. I keep on checking the IGN. Is that the leap and bound? And then I realized that oh no, it's a leap main team
Hmm.
taking over the high ground, the roof, great angle, and annihilating the players of Four Kings. And this is what I'm interested for, brother.
Yeah.
If we're talking about OBS, they're like singing, we started from the bottom, now I'm here. And right now, after being the bottom for the previous matches, right now we're seeing OBS on top six.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, top six. I think I would say it's a little bit more safer for them to declare that they will have a better chance of going into the grand finals. But now then, look at it. Imagine 28 points for OBS main, 27 for both Leap and IE and Rage, and then it's almost in the 20s up until the 13th spot. So it's easy enough to overtake them, push them down to 13 or to 14 rather, if in case OBS main eliminated early and then the rest of the teams just move above them with a decent amount of elimination. But as I manifested, and I know I'm a little bit thick-faced at this point, but I manifested different name, a different brand on the board, and well, it has been given.
And with that said, I'm also expecting that we will be seeing a different team playing the mats for Blackout map, because I want to see a different team to where we will be seeing different colors. And this is
Yeah.
a call out, brother. I'm calling out this time Rigid TSG, because one, seeing the overall rankings, they're on top two, even if they don't have any victory yet. So
Let's see
it's
them.
like, yep, it's like sending a message that hey, we don't need to have a victory. We have some skills, and we can eliminate a lot of points to bring us to the top.
Yeah, let's see now. Let's see. I mean, you did mention different colors, and my background decided to go in different colors,
know.
and I will be joining you in that fray. Let's try blue, for instance. I know some of the colors, some of the boxes are not helping, but let's go for blue at this point. Let's see if it will be added in that board right now, and blue color of logo coming from either team of Rigid, because right now we are hopping in onto the next map. And did mention Blackout, so we're letting go. We'll be letting go of some of those gulags as well as some of those potential comebacks and going back into basics of Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale, where in dog tags is is important. And I used to have my name as a dog tag. I mean, literally, I put my name as a dog tag because every time I play BR, I'm always a dog tag. So why not use it as a name? And at some point, it did work. I mean, I didn't become a dog tag anymore that much. I'm saying that much. Let me just set the expectation, because I'm still not that good, but I'm trying my best to be that good. But let's see, Clark. We are about to jump in onto next map in Blackout. Apart from the blue team, Rigid, any other teams that you're eyeing to grab that victory?
I'll go with the Poison Ivy team. Oh, they won already. VVV, brother. VVV, one of the
Yeah,
OGs that we have on the
OGs,
list,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
They haven't won any matches yet, so let's see if we're going to see a different logo from the VVV to where their logo is color red.
Now let's see though if they will be able to bring it on right now as the flight is set up. So buckle in and let's jump out into Blackout in a bit. Will this be a fight into estates or construction site or wherever battle? I'm looking for hot drops overall. Let's bring that chaos in this fight. And
Oh my God.
well, early on, a little bit of a fair fight path for everyone to get into their drop spot.
I'm expecting that few teams will be dropping off to the ghost town, but it's a good thing I'm only seeing one now, so it's a different story, I can say, and a different experience, because whenever we play in Blackout, we keep on seeing Casa, Four Kings playing in a ghost town, and they stay longer from that location even if the circle is already smaller. But meanwhile, we're still showing you the map and we're still seeing you. We're showing you this time. Finally, Four Kings got an opponent from the construction side, and it's gonna
Ooh.
be interesting. As you can see, they know
Oh
already
no.
where to go. They know how to use the zip line. They know how to move, and just like that, getting that kill point, and they're not yet done for the lead main team. This is gonna be interesting. This is the one that I'm sharing you when we start this kind of tournament, brother.
Yeah.
This is the bragging rights. This is the lead main team or leap and bound keeps on dropping off from the construction site. On the other hand, also staying and seeing the players of Four Kings. This time, the one that who's fighting from the Leap Esports. That's the main team of Leap Esports. And
Yeah.
the story behind that, brother, is like the Leap main team getting the debut. And after next match, we will be seeing Four Kings winning the W. So it's kind of like a perfect battle from these two teams. So it's like if someone will be asking who will be the best team in construction site, my answer would be both.
Yeah. My answer is still Foreman. Foreman is still the best player in construction site. No questions asked. Well, let's see though. Four Kings right now recovered all of the players, and despite of that, I mean, they did lost one of their players got knocked down, but for Leap, they did receive a lot of damage. Two of them needed to be revived, and Kleptazi right now. Let's see if we'll be able to gun down Yato. But this is where the risk is. Because, yes, you will be having Aspect coming back. Sato still needs to be scanned. And if you go in a little bit too close, you might be falling for that bait and switch. So it's a good thing that Kleptacy didn't go for that chase. And still more of that ego challenge that Leap is trying to win against the Four Kings.
Clearly shows, brother, the experience. That's the one that I'm talking about. They know when to attack. They know if they're going to be aggressive or not, because they know already that that's the Four Kings, and they experience losing the battle to the Four Kings. Same thing with the Four Kings losing the battle with the Leap. So that's why they're doing the same thing, right? They're just trying to be cautious and making sure that they can measure the percent of the W that they can get if they're going to attack.
Let's see though if this is where they will be measured. This is where they will be weighed, and where they will be left wanting. The Four Kings is still the Kings, and four man's wrong in this fight. And Leap, well, a leap of fate is needed for them to get back in play. But 19 teams still alive and kicking at this point. There's plenty of spaces to play with, especially for the other teams. And also, from the earlier games, we've seen a lot of players, a lot of teams going into a state. And we're still seeing that in the horizon. Aspect right now, gliding in. Shots from behind. The smoke has been released. But Aspect will be going down from the hands of Get. And it seems like Four Kings are winning every gunfight, every battle against Leap Main.
Look at the number of points. They got 5 kill points already. So if the Leap main team will be able to scan a dog tags, you gotta think twice, because you're losing the battle, right? So let's see how it goes. But meanwhile, we're showing you a different team to where KM2, like Brother Neptune is saying earlier from the States, it's kind of like the same situation. We're seeing some Founders right now winning the position. Came to Ryu is the only player. Misdirection being activated. Let's see how effective it is. And just like that, Asta! Surprise, surprise.
Well, hasta la vista, baby. That is what Ryu is going to say at that point. We're still Gab, though, who's waiting for the perfect moment to go for that jab as well. But Ryu, let's see if he'll be able to charge up, pull out that Dragon Flame, and there goes the shot! Spotted him, but no! Ryu goes down! Reslick for the help, and Gab might be the one being taken out, but another chance for another hit. He has been spotted! Walks away! Gab! A little bit too smooth in the movement, and will he be able to survive? L was stuck into that wall, but Reslick is, you know what it is. Reslick will be slick. As smooth as butter in that 1v1.
Gab loses the job on that battle.
Mhm.
Great smooth transition from the KM to Rizlik. Meanwhile, we're showing you the Blackfire. Three soldiers that I'm seeing. Oh, I was wrong. That's a complete squad already from the Blackfire, from the cargo dock. So let's see how it goes. And they got they managed to somehow upgrade their classes already. Right now, they're
Yeah.
about to rotate, and they need to be careful as well. I'm about to say that it might be exploded because someone is out there using the FSJ, and true enough, that's your TPU.
Ooh.
Rigid is also out there. That's the Rigid TSC, the top one ranking from the Group B stage, and here we go. A preparation being made with the hack class. This is the trigger to where they can definitely have a ticket to push in, and that's the one we are seeing. Nasty with the Marcelin doing some repair because of the
Oh no.
damages. Can he get a
Uh-oh.
knockdown? There you go. Finally, Nasty being knocked down and back into the lobby.
Yeah, that's what we call mashed potato. After being pounded so hard by Lay, he just went down. Now let's see though, there's still one more player for the team of Blackfire, and a good chance that they might be able to recover if those dog tags will be picked up and scanned. On the other side, we have Glue taking well, a vehicle and taking down 4VK. Apollo and Super Juge has been taken down. Only Sanma would be left. And you know how it is. When you heard that name Sanma, well, you already know that they're looking for something. Well, let's see. Sanma. Sanma. Sanma talaga.
Where you at? Where you at?
Where you at?
Looking
Where
at
you
a map
at,
right
bro?
now. Yeah, where you at? And looking at a map. They're looking. They keep on looking. Where's the location of their opponents? Great job. Thank you so much, Mission Control, for showing the map so that we will have kind of like an intel to where most of the teams staying from any other location. And truly now, we keep on seeing a lot of teams outside of the circle. This is something that we can consider as part of the strategies of the players. Sandma right now keeps on looking, as you can see right here, the only player alive, and he's definitely on a mission, brother. He's definitely on the lookout to where he needs to grab the dog tags of his teammates before it's too late.
Yeah, well, let's see though if they will be early or too late. Let's see. Sanma right now will try his best. Well, for me, if you're going to ask me, I will not be going for ORV. I would be going in that for that motorcycle to be able to get those dog
Why?
tags. But
I'm asking you right now, why?
why? Because I'm not a good driver. If there's a tree, if there's a rock, and it's a wider vehicle, I would be stuck. Poison Ivy right now seems like there's not stuck anymore. Those engagement, that takedown onto Dre, if not licked, did pay off dividends already in terms of elimination. But for Kings, it seems like they are slowing down. They are slowing down, and they might be able to get a few elimination from KM2 in a bit.
And they know already the location, so that's why they're using their utilities, doing some Kobe shot. But though they did not any they did not see any damages, but they know already for a fact that the KM2 is trying to get away because they need to secure their own loadouts from the arsenal and not be stolen by the
Yeah.
four kings. That's the only gameplays that they're thinking right away. But looking out, the Immortals Esport, after getting that intel, driving around on top of this hill, knowing the location of their opponents, they're thinking right now, is this going to be easy for us to penetrate that compound or not? And they decided not to engage, which is clearly shows that they're really being smart not
Yeah.
to get in because it might be an ambush for them.
Let's see though, they will be ambushed or they will be the one doing ambush. Paul being pushed with that vehicle, and Glue pulls away in the perfect timing as well to finish them off. Now Rinka would be doing his best to drive the rest of the teams off into the sunset or into the next zone, but I think the hunting doesn't stop just yet for your brother Superman from
Yeah.
4VK. I mean, it's a good thing that they are back in play, and that is thanks to Sanma. So Sanma is like valiant effort coming from the guy. Going solo, going forth. Superman!
Thank
Thank you
you,
very much.
Direk.
Thank you, Direk. And Superman, the brother of
Oh my
Super
god.
Clark.
Oh my god. There you go. Having a super attack from the field. And that hype is not really a hype anymore because Immortals Esports stumping that kind of energy from the field. But looking at it, hasta la vista, baby. He's still holding on to that water tank and not really having himself appearing to the odds of Immortals Esports. So let's see how it goes because right now we're showing you OBS Fry is not able to cook clearly because after taking a risk, getting some great kinetics or golden attachment from that green drop, he misses that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see though. I mean, when you miss someone, well, the opportunity. I'm thinking about other things. When you miss someone, like you always get back to it. So if they miss that opportunity, they try to get back to it. As we can see, Sekre seeing one of the players, Paul. Well, let's see where George and Gringo would be. But I think he is down. Claudie is still on the other side though, so there's still a chance that they can bring them back. But I think Rigid will not let them go that easily. He has been hurt. He has been spotted. Even a shockwave has hit them a little bit, but Paul is not pulling up. He might be drowning in a bit.
Secret right now finding a secret, the secret location of OBS Paul, and then no avail. And it's really a good thing, a great hiding spot. I can say that because OBS Paul able to survive from that attack. And right now they are adjusting the position and looking at the rooms that they can penetrate. Oh, just like that. Surprise, surprise. Let's see if there will be any counter from the Rigid TSG. And true enough, Stellar being a star, getting a knockdown.
That was just too many for Claudia at that point. He did manage to go for a knockdown, but unfortunately, there's not so much of backup, and he's losing armor at that point. But, well, a revive would be happening. Rigid might be seeing a little bit of contention from some of the players who are in the same area, but Super Juge going in against Zero. Both of them slides in the same time, but Zero also spots out Sanma. Sanma, let's see if he will be finally spotted and found. He moves away, but the Blues eating him alive. And, oh, with only a few HP, I thought he survived, but Indra says no.
Dude, I heard Sanma shouting. He shouted, Mama, Mama. Where are you,
I
Mama?
thought he shouted, Sanma, where's the ulam?
Oh my god, there we go. My dad, Superman this time. There you go. And I'm seeing Super Jeff, my brother from another mother. We are clearly a family in this playoffs. So let's see if the Superman has a superpower to survive. But looking at it, survival mode from this top of the hill. That's your Poison Ivy Team Atlas fighting against Rigid and also at the same time Casa. So let's see how it goes. This is the top dogs that we have from the playoffs. So let's see, adjusting the position, rotating, and also creating some space. That's the best thing that they can do. And about to chase OBS Ball. And let's see if Ball will be able to survive. And looking at Imagine, brother, a different team. And this is going to be interesting. This might be a chaos for the Four Kings. And that's the one that I'm talking about. And just like that, Kez losing the battle. And they are not yet done because Four Kings, after winning the battle inside of the mansion with a cloud of smoke being thrown already and doing some reset because they know for a fact that Poison Ivy Team Atlas is still out there.
It's now dead unthinkable, but unfortunately lost the time. If he could have waited or probably survived a little bit more, then the full squad or the 3 players might have been back. Now, 4 Kings, 12 eliminations already, and very near to the next phase of the circle. But I guess the goal is to go in onto the edge. Go like a little bit of slow down as they move in onto the next phase, and then that's where they meet a potential target like IE and Rinka glue, and the rest will be gunned down, and they lost 1 already.
Oh my God, that's something that you need to take note of. You gotta have a better position. Just that's the one that we. It is happening already for the four kings, being kings of the hill. Apollo, on the other hand, targeting the rigid phoenix. Let's see if they can manage to knock down one of the players. It's gonna be hard. They got a great cover. In fact, adding more smoke inside of this location makes it harder for them to see. True enough, because I don't see anything. And two players from Immortals Esports being patient enough and looking for the perfect timing for the rigid esports to go out from this little house, but this time able to find a perfect opportunity for the tight space. Oh my God, Parkour giving them a chance to knock down another soldiers, but this time they're not yet done with a battle. Rinka being the best players of Immortals Esports right now, fighting a different team. Natty's on the ground, plus a grenade being thrown, and here we go. RVAs for the counter at the edge of the save zone. Can they make it? Can they annihilate all of the players of Immortals Esports? And Apollo is flying into the space already, brother.
Let's see now, Apollo. Let's see if he'll be able to take off into the moon and, well, or into Mars, I would say, depending on which number Apollo will be bringing at this point. Now, Immortal Esports seems like, well, there are 3 players is not that immortal, and it's only left to 1. But in terms of numbers, they had a lot, 21 elimination.
Indeed.
And close to that would be Rigid, that has a lot of potential targets, named Poison Ivy, as well as 4 Kings. So 4 Kings from above, and Rigid from below. Poison Ivy managed to survive, but unfortunately, Lei targeted 4 Kings, and they are just on a killing spree.
That's the effective gameplay that you can do, doing some gatekeep and also a third party. It was clearly effective from the rigid TSG, targeting the 4 Kings main team. But you got to be aware that someone is also out there that's going to be from your 6. So you got to be careful. This is an open area battlefield. Once again, clearly, we only have 5 teams and 30 soldiers on boots. In terms of position, Stellar got the advantage. The question there, how smart he is in staying on that position.
Well, let's see though if he will be smart enough to stay or probably let go of that position. 4 Kings would be silent at this point, trying to gun down everyone else. Out of 4 teams remaining, they have the most numbers, and that's one thing that they will need to play off. But with Ryu, goes for his spray onto Dre. Unfortunately, he doesn't put him down on the ground. A little bit too quick in that movement. And KM2, well, just waiting for their time. The rest of KM2, 3 players against 3. I guess KM2 would be the same number where 4 Kings is at.
Can you imagine, brother? This is a tight space, but we're still seeing 12 soldiers on boots. So in no time, that's going to be a chaos. And Ryu also taking advantage of that kinetic. That's why he's just staying out there. Gatekeep Yato. Oh my God. Dre was the one being caught off guard. That was really a great counter from 4 Kings Yato and get adjusting the position. But that's really a 2v1 situation. Can he make it? Can he survive? And just like that, is on the ground. Secret doesn't share any secret anymore because he clearly showing how good he is, trying to push in, and Yato is the next target. Can he get 2 Ps? Knock that right away. Also winning the position. Is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be it? Oh my God! Getting the victory at the end. No other than a different color, a different logo, calling him out earlier. This is it. The victory. The rigid TSG.
Well, Rigid finally. The blue team, as we asked, has delivered, and a different team managed to go in onto the board. And, well, really looking forward to how this team will be rocking it all throughout. And I love seeing it in this game. Now, it's more of a challenge on who's getting the victory. The only question, though, is out of the 2 remaining maps, Clark, will there be a different team representing, or are they chill enough, safe enough on the top of the leaderboard that there's not so much of contention that they need to do?
I couldn't agree more because I'm expecting, well, it's a good thing that I called him out, which clearly works, right? Because Rigid TSG got the win. And I'm expecting, we are also excited to see any other teams. And it's a good thing since you're against with a back-to-back. It's really
Yeah.
happening, brother. I don't see any back-to-back, so that's really something that we can take note of, and definitely having fun, because it's true that a lot of teams right now from the playoffs, they got a pro caliber skills, and each of them being the forces to be reckoned with in terms of their performances, in terms on how are they going to control the map or the situation that they are in.
Yeah, well, let's see if they'll be able to control that. It was difficult. There's a lot of teams, there are a lot of
Right.
situations wherein they tried their best, but the final moment, and this is what I often see in Blackout, they, like compared to how it is in Isolated, they like in Blackout they often stay outside of blue, and yes, it doesn't seem that far, but for each phase, for each step that you make, it seems like Blackout hurts even more on the latter part of the circle. And that's one thing that some teams are, well, I know they know it, but they're still playing it as if it's Isolated on that final circle. If they can get away from that mindset, they might be able to dominate those games, especially if they have the numbers.
Right, and clearly it shows from the teams who clearly dominating the Blackout map. It's clearly different, a lot of spaces that you can use, and a lot of open area battle. And if in case you are into the building, like, you got to be ready. That's the reason there's a hack class that you can use. It's like, you know, having a trigger to when to ambush or to push into your opponents. And this is the open area, also one of the features of the Blackout map, and clearly evident that we ended in an open space area to where Rigid TSG showcasing the talent that they've got, the skills that they've got, and how capable they are in getting the victory. And true enough, we are showing you the match winner, brother. Congratulations once again from the Rigid TSG.
Yeah, Rigid TSG with Sekre on 8 elimination, Lay with 7, Stellar with 4, and Slashy with 1. And that adds up to 20 overall elimination, if my math is correct. Now, that's 30 points already. And this team that we, like, Rigid TSG did get a lot of victories on the group stages. And right now, or from the earlier parts, it didn't show that much. But it seems like after this, the consistency that they've done, the victory as well, they might be taking #1 spot off the board, because from what I've seen in their game, yes, they might not be getting that victory, but at least in terms of elimination or in the elimination department, they have maintained consistency. And that's what we love to see from teams.
Consistency is the key. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. In fact, the overall rankings might change. I'm so excited to see the leaderboards right now, if the Rigid TSG will be on top because of, one, number of elimination, two,
Yep.
the first victory that they've got from the playoffs. So I'm so interested to see if they will be the #1 overall rankings. And to stay consistent, this is the match rankings, to showcase how consistent they are, bringing the groove that they got from the group stage and moving into the finals, to where they managed to control all of the situation that they are in. And as you can see from the match ranking, they are rocking a total of 30 points.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, total of 30 points. IEXDOS in there still on the board with 24. 4 Kings with 21. KM2 Hades. This is one thing that I'm loving. The evolution of the teams as well, like KM2 Hades. And we seldom see this happen in the tournaments just like this, but this is how motivated some of the teams are. This is how motivated some of those that is not really showing up on the top of the leaderboard, but they are doing their best. They're grinding hard to be part of the grand finals. And as you can see, KM2 on the 5th spot. Rigid TSG, though, on the other hand, managed to grab that #1 spot. And I want to point out as well on what Rigid TSG has taken from the 5 matches, or 4 matches before they grabbed that victory. So they were they were fifth rather on our isolated. They
Right.
were second on Blackout. They were what, fourth on isolated once again, and then they were the victors in this game. And valiant effort for the other teams, but consistency definitely pays off, and that's what Rigid TSG is showing right now.
I do see the consistency as well from the VVV. In fact, they started from the bottom earlier, to where
Mhm.
we are seeing Renatus is definitely having a hard time to get things done. But this time, we are seeing them being part of the top 16, that they will have a
Oh yeah.
chance to go to the grand finals. We are done with the 4 matches, and the last map was Blackout. Now we're gonna go back to the isolated, where they're going to have different play styles, a lot of cash being involved, and a gulag. How are they going to really leverage the gulag if they win?
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that we're asking at this point. A lot of changes into the map, a lot of changes into the victors of each game, and I am loving it. Definitely, after 4 matches, no back-to-back,
Uh
this
huh.
only shows how the teams are dominant overall, and no one's letting go of that victory.
That's definitely true. And I keep on seeing that whenever they need to be part of the top 16, like knowing their rankings, I see the sense of urgency from any other teams from the bottom, right? They
Yep,
wanted to make
yep.
sure that since we are creating some history right now, creating some legendaries, we are seeing how grateful the teams are being part of the playoffs, and plus the fact taking the advantage, because you are there already from the playoffs, to where you sacrifice a lot, the time, the effort, and learning all of your opponent's skills and strategies is also one thing that you also sacrifice. And right
Mhm.
now, why not use all of those sacrifices, motivating yourself from those efforts to bring a great outcome to your performances? And we're seeing them right now, because some of the bottom teams able to be involved to the top 16.
Yeah, we'll see though on what else would be the evolution of teams. Right now, we're going to go for a quick break. When we return, we are setting off on the final 2 maps for Knockout Stage. I'm Neptune, this is Clark. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, and this is Call of Duty Mobile Garena September Cup 2025 Battle Royale, and two more maps to go, two more chances for the team to punch their tickets onto the grand finals. We're going to find out though if there will be any other teams that would be taking that victory spot. I am Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by the one and only Super Clark, and will be your casters for remaining two games.
Job keeps on jumping, keeps on punching. We still have two matches. We're gonna go back to isolated in Blackfire, so let's see how it goes, because this is gonna be an interesting battle already. We already know and have an understanding what it looks like in the top 16. Now the only question there is, how can they sustain, how can they stay on that ranking, or somehow do their best in changing the ladder that they're in.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see if there will be any changes all throughout and the remaining two games, because there's some teams who are very close into that. You did mention about VVV Renatos, who is currently in the 16th spot, and even Cos Nostra Noblesse might be able to catch up on them. But right now, no more waiting as we drop back into Isolated for our game number 5.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, just like Mustachio is saying. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's a mix
boys
of,
and
that's
girls.
a mix of his and mine, because I often say here we go, and then he goes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Shout out to
Mustachio. You know your caster's history, bro.
Right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are starting the match 5, going back into isolated map.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, Overgrown right now might be populated. Sakura might be with 2 teams, or probably not. And in the northern part, it's Insanitarium who's going insane once again. So you know how it is. Like, once that northern part has been populated by the teams, it's a struggle. It's a power struggle for either the loot, but also the snowboard. But in Sanitarium, at this point, a lot of engagement is happening already, and the next phase of the circle is way down south.
Too much sanity from the Faldrews. In fact, from the Delta, they only got 2 soldiers right now going into the Gulag, so that's going to be a great challenge for them. The question would be, how are they going to react? How are they going to adjust from that bad situation that they are in? Because Faldrews showcasing how good they are right now in terms of being the first one who grab a better resources, who has a better weapons, fighting against that team Delta. That's why it's clearly a great challenge. In fact, showing some confidence, provoking their opponents by making some noises.
Yeah, I mean, Faltrus, they were very close at the bottom from the group stages, and it's a great thing that this time around, given the opportunity, given that motivation to get into the grand finals, they're doing even better. And we take note of this. We're in everyone has been put in together. Faltrus seems to be showing up, and well, against Delta, the round 2 is up. They have managed to take down 2 players, Ellie and Keiji, but there's still a few more involved in that fight.
Right, and we're seeing Fry already into the Gulag, and that's why we're seeing OBS right now. Either they're going to do some regroup or somehow check first the dormitory if KM2 will be the one annihilating them, or they're the one finding a better chance of winning this gunfight. But looking at the KM2 right away, like we mentioned, they're on the top 5 ranking with a total points of 37, to where they are showcasing how consistent they are and having a better chance of winning the battle. And speaking of the battle at the edge of the Rocky Mountain, Seiji getting the W and about to clean out the mess.
Yeah, well, they have cleaned up. Hyper Vivre has a good opportunity, but unfortunately the pickup has not been made. They waited a little bit long, and here comes a leap jumping in against them. Even Fawn didn't survive, and that's one thing. Some of the teams right here, especially the top dogs, just are focusing on keeping their teammates safe and alive. But for that moment, it seems like that was not priority for Hype Vivre Esports. So hopefully they back in from the Gulag and go back into fight. But for Leap, they managed to get one elimination already. Probably might be able to secure a few later on.
That's true because we saw already. Looking at it, there's a lot of cash, so that's why they got their own loadout and about to complete the loadouts as early as we speak. So you got to be careful right here from the leap and bound because in no time they can annihilate you. And just like that, super not being super already in hype 7 S7 I mean is not being lucky enough to survive from the leap and bound. Superman once again, my dad, where you at? And here we go from the 4VK or 4 Valor King. It's kind of like it's giving me some energy, you know, each time our director highlighting the Superman. And that's a super family from the 4VK because we're seeing Super Jody and Superman at the same time. But let's see, we're still seeing, or I haven't seen my brother from another mother, Super Jeff from the 4 Kings.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, the 4 Kings. There you go. Ask and you shall receive. 4 Kings are back into play right now. Despite the blue closing in, they do have their snowboard. They do have their loots. Not so much elimination. That's okay. They're still part of the top of the leaderboard, and if they can maintain that, they might be able to keep them on the top 16. And they're very far. Like 3rd place, it's very difficult to take them down that easily. So all they have to do is chill at this point.
Right, in this brotherhood that we are seeing from the Casa, they really need to exert a lot of effort because they're only missing 1 point. 1 point difference from VVV Redditus to be or to steal that rank 16 from the VVV. So let's see how it goes right now. If that's going to be the perfect time to where they can collect more kills. And just like that, oh my God. Casa is now able to knock him down. And here we go, RVH right here with the Gulag. And checking out Poison Ivy is going to be being quiet, roaming around using that ORV.
I mean, they are quiet overall, and hopefully not too quiet, not to get that much elimination. But Poison Ivy, 33 points, currently in 6th place. They've done as much as possible, but we keep talking about this, how close it is in terms of points for those in the 20s to be able to pull them down. So, again, the goal of the team is not to be number 1, but if you can secure as much elimination as possible, as much placement point as possible, and keep yourself afloat, maintain up until 16th place, like for the remaining 2 games, including this, then you would be heading off in tomorrow's grand finals.
That's definitely correct. And we are seeing the Rigid TSG right now. They're on top. So the momentum is there. The composure is there. They've got the synergy. Right now, they're showing a lot of patience, not any movement at all, because they know already the lead main team is also out there. Finally, we're seeing Lei knowing the intel that he can definitely share to the team. And perfect timing, perfect execution of that hack, because the circle is definitely shrinking, and that's the time for them to move. We are seeing one knockdown right away. That's how good they are. Perfect execution of the class. And Klep TC not able to steal that moment from the Rigid TSG.
Let's see though, if anything would be stolen at this point, Kleptz would not be surviving that long because the blue as well closing in. Nash right now, the only one together with red. Surviving Alien has been caught off guard. And probably that distraction coming from red was giving them that opportunity to go in not only for the takedown, but also with all the loots that is available in this area.
They need to have a 5K to buy back Berto. As you can see right here, he's dog tag, and that's something that they need to really consider in their strategy so that they will have another chance to do some regroup and have a complete squad and a powerful team who can attack any opponents. And speaking of powerful team, who will be the powerful squad on that location? Because we are seeing KM2 losing the battle already from the Poison Ivy. But here we go, Kyle TC trying to look for a powerful player who happens to be Ryu. You gotta be careful. Ryu can do some Hadouken and knock you down, so who knows?
Yeah, let's see though if there will be any fireball that would be let go by Ryu. Well, speaking of Ryu, he would be gunned down by Kyle TZ. Now, for 4 Kings, going in, trying to target not only VVV but also Leap from that area. They managed to pull away. Vehicle gameplay plus that FHJ coming from one of the players from Four Kings is crucial for them not to be chased around. And one goal for the team right now is to be able to maintain their dominance in this game in survivability as well as in getting better position as each circle closes in. OBS, we've seen them go in for that victory earlier on, but Raf says, no, we can take you down one at a time, and even Fave will be joining this part. A three-way battle in Launchpad, and let's see who's going to take them down.
They've got the advantage in terms of the angle. All they need to do is to think about on how clever they are in maintaining that position, fighting against Casa. But yeah, they are freaking confident in knowing that they're at the 14th rank from the leaderboards. They can definitely showcase how good they are in maintaining that good performances and have a phenomenal number of kills. In fact, they are right now rocking 9 kills in total. Oh, my bro. And Caro also got a great engagement, and just like that, Trevor being the best one to do some damage from his opponent. And let's see how it goes, because we're still not yet done with the war. In fact, Claudie saying goodbye from the Hajime. Hajime is one of the OG players that we have in Call of Duty mobile community.
Yeah, let's see now. I mean, we have seen Pave Omni. They did dominate that game. Costa now, well, need to catch up to the rest of the teams to be able to get into the 16th spot. They need as much as possible, especially if VVV Renatus is not out of the game just yet. But they need to move. Islao is not slowing down, but on the other side, 4VK, together with your brother, would be taken down. Now, Tom Beeps for Four Kings spotting Immortal Esports. And, well, they have been isolated. The only question, though, is can they fit back? It is Yato who goes down, and also damage being received. There goes a takedown, and still the Four Kings manage to fight back. 3-man strong against the players, but it doesn't slow down just yet for Immortal Esports. Apollo sprayed, and Super Jeff would be the ones winning that 1v1.
My brother from another mother, clearly showing how super he is, fighting back to Immortals Esports. This is going to be interesting at the edge of the station right now. Guys is clearly not showing and revealing his position early, and the only time that he revealed his position to where he got no choice at all, because the circle is getting smaller, and Hasbu is also out there, and here we go, Rinka able to come back into the battlefield, and just like that, being knocked out right away by Super Jeff. And because of that gatekeep, it clearly works, and Get is about to be back on his feet if Super Jeff will have a perfect timing and still have a chance to revive him and go back on his feet. That's the best duo that I can tell you from the Four Kings.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely the timing is well, and they will be able to recover as well as wait for the rest of the teams to get back from the Gulag. Blackfire, on the other hand, 8 eliminations already going in for the fight against Immortal Esports. Alien will be taken down. But the only question is, will there be other players from Immortal Esports that can bring them back? Because it seems like Carl and Nath would still be alive, but in trouble of meeting up other teams as well. Now, 7 teams remaining at this point, and it still is looking like there's plenty of space for the teams to move in, but in a bit, the blue will be closing in, and that's where most of the engagement would be happening.
Oh, what is going on? Rigid Phoenix doesn't have a kill yet. We're on the mid part of the battlefield, so let's see how it goes, because right now, if you remember the standing of Rigid Phoenix, they're at the 10th place, so maybe they just wanted to stay longer and survive longer and get the placement points. Who knows? Let's see at the very end of this isolated match. Maybe that's one of the tactics and strategies of Rigid Phoenix. But looking down and checking out a different team right here, this is going to be a great challenge and a lot of pressure from Kosa Dem, because right here, he's the only player. And I'm seeing sad face from the Kush, and 2 players are still into the Gulag, hoping that they can W. But right now, that's going to be Blackfire with a 2v1 situation, penetrating that building. That's going to be a good one-top shot. And Berto using that Jackdaw just to create some use damage and getting the win. What a great comeback from Blackfire Berto.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think Kosa only has one player at that moment, and they will be eliminated. We're down to 15 teams already, and in 4 Kings is having a lot of struggle and surviving longer. 4 eliminations overall for the entire squad. Tom Peeps is in a gulag, one needed to be revived. And if they can manage to bring them back as a full squad later on, once the blue closes in, then there might be a good chance that they can grab that victory. But for VVV right now, they are fighting against RGD, and only EJ would be at this point. Now, if they can spot him out, then that would be another point onto the BVV's team. But the Shockwave
Hmm.
tagging him out, and with that Jack 12 as well, EJ would be out of the game.
I'm not sure what's going to be the ranking for the Rigid Phoenix now. They only got 3 kills from this moment. So let's see how it goes at the very end. But we're right here, Team T VVV got the good angle. So let's see how are they going to effectively use this position by just getting some intel. Also a great defense, as you can see, if they're going to use this building, because they know for a fact that the moment we have a smaller circle, that's a time to where they're going to stay and use that windows from that building. And speaking of buildings, Team Delta uses 2 buildings out there and patiently wait if there's someone that they can attack, because they hack it out and saw that there's 4 soldiers closest to them. So they're trying to be ready.
Now let's see on how ready they can be at this point. Poison Ivy, 7 elimination already, knocking
Oh,
into the doors. Shockwave, and well, let's see if they will be able to continue this role, find other players roaming in the area, and if Delta can probably spot them, but no, unfortunately, Bunny goes down. A few more players from the other side, and as they are being spread a little bit too thin in this fight, they couldn't fight against Poison Ivy. But here we go, Gecko as well as Eli would be jumping in, Smoke would be released, and KG not yet joining that battle.
I mean, right now they're just prioritizing their position. How are they going to react to that difficulties? Because the Team Delta struggling a lot already from that kind of position. At first, they're holding on to the 2 buildings, but right now, Poison Ivy taking over. And KG focusing on getting some cash just to be ready in case for the worst case scenario. And Gecko is the other building that I'm talking about. And they're not moving any muzzle at all. Seeing Blackfire and Poison Ivy having some engagement, and they're just gonna go ahead and patiently wait for the perfect timing to where these opponents will do some reset, and that's the perfect chance for them to attack.
And let's see though if they can time the attack perfectly. For Blackfire, they have been waiting in here and will be moving out in a bit. But RGD, Lay managed to go in for a takedown. Blackfire right now. Overwatch on what's happening between RGD as well as Poison Ivy. But Indira spotted, shot, and might not be able to survive, especially with that blue closing in. 10 teams remaining in this game. The blue closing in, and it seems like in a bit we're going to see more annihilation happening in this fight.
Let's see how it goes, because 14 kills in total right now from Blackfire and trying to be ready. And they know already that there's a lot out there, but using that clutch. And here we go, losing the battle. Void is on the ground, and a lot of engagement in action.
Oh, no.
Exchanges. RGDEJ able to knock down one of the soldiers as well. 2 players left from Leap and Bound. Let's see how powerful they are. Are they going to go ahead and bounce around from that edge of that rocky mountain or not? And also trying to be ready with a cloud of smoke in front of him. That's really something that they can buy some time, staying at the edge of the safe zone, at the edge of that mountain, and seeing Immortus Esports performing and attacking Blackfire. Patiently wait from any other opponents if they can do some third party. That is something that we are expecting right now. Who will be the best team to use the building? Who will be having a better defense, and what color that will rise at the end of this match?
Let's see though, Delta, 2 players being taken out by Lich. On the side of VVV, this seems like where they would need to be cautious. They would need to be patient, because Renato's, when we look at the leaderboard, they were a little bit too close to the 16th spot or being thrown away. And if they will be
Hmm.
able to maintain that, get a few more placement point as well as elimination, they might be able to elevate themselves. Now for Four Kings, get spray onto Immortal Esports, even with us being
Hmm.
shot, but unfortunately, on the side of VVV Renatus, they will be eliminated. Only 5 teams remain. And oversight from the Four Kings looks like they would be getting that victory. And you know how it is.
Yeah,
Third place, no victory just yet. This is what they've been waiting for.
that's true because they got a better position. They have all of the eyes that they can definitely use in
Mhm.
seeing the movement of their opponents. Now the chance would be they're just gonna wait and decide whether are they gonna go some third party or are they gonna go ahead and push in because pushing in might be a dangerous for them because it
Yeah.
might caught them off guard by being in a sandwich situation going into the middle. So that's one
Huh.
of the things that
Let's see.
really need to take note of. Super Joe D is not also moving any inside. Oh, two players left from Immortals Esports, as you can see right here, with 11 kills and elimination. That's something that they need to take good care of because we're still seeing four teams to go with 8 soldiers. Misdirection being activated, brother. Here we go. This is going to be the action.
Yeah, let's see though. Four Kings, well, perfect timing. They can just focus on one shot and just jump in on the perfect opportunity to clear everyone.
Ooh.
3 men strong. And Four Kings gets this victory. It doesn't have to be that aggressive in that
Right.
final moment. All they have to do is wait for that perfect moment. Four Kings did just that.
Smart move. Clever way to end the match. And like the one that we are saying that you need to know how important it is having a better position. And that's true enough from the Four Kings. They stay longer on the high ground and patiently wait for the perfect timing to close in to where they can manage the space available from the last zone and getting the victory at the very end. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And from the last time we saw the Four Kings as well, though they get the victory, the elimination is not that high, which I would agree because if you are already in a good spot
Right.
above the 16th spot, then you don't have to show up a lot of your tactics. You don't have to stress so much. All you have to do is get position. If their goal is to be on the board when it comes to the victory, then that's the best way to do it.
I
A
agree.
little bit slow, but at least they get that win. And let's look forward. Like skip forward to the grand finals. This is what they need. If you can get 80 points already and you trigger that victory blitz condition on the following map, if you get another victory, then you will be declared a champion. So this is one thing that the teams need to focus on. Not only in getting a lot of elimination, but also in getting wins. Because as early as 4 maps, a team might be able to be champion already with the format that we have.
Which I love the victory blitz format. Like you got to make sure that you can reach early the 80 points and hoping to grab the W on the next match to be crowned as champion. So that, you know, it's kind of like
Yeah.
saving a lot of energy. Like, can you imagine you will be crowned as champion by playing 4 rounds only, right? So that's crazy. And also, talking about it from the tournament, it's like you have the right to say, hey, we are the champion because clearly we dominant. All right, the tournament by clearly eliminating 80 points or having 80 eliminated opponents and
Yeah.
getting the W at the very end. So that's how it is. So I'm so excited. It's kind of like a practice for them because seeing the overall rankings, I'm only seeing top three teams who managed to reach more than 80 points.
Yeah, let's see though. Let's see on how it ended up. The match winner is the Four Kings with Yaro, Get, Super Jeff, and Tom Peeps. 4 for Get, 5 from Super Jeff, 3 from Tom Peeps, and none from Yado. It's more of full support coming from Yado at this point, and compared to what we've seen earlier in victory or the match winners, it's very low, but they really don't need it to be that high. If the goal is to just go with how the Victory Blitz is going to play out, then they could have already achieved it if this is the grand finals. Could have, but I believe, judging from the numbers before this game started, no one or only one team has grabbed 80 points just yet. So if this is the case, then that would be it would stretch out to the final game. But well, there's no waiting yet for the final game. Let's head over to the MVP, which is Super Jeff, your brother from another mother.
Being the MVP with 5 kill points from the last match, and a great preparation moving into the Blackout round once again. And this is the one that we are discussing earlier. It's kind of like, a great experience for them on how to get 80 points, because they know for a fact that they will be part of the grand finals, to where all of the teams can be eligible to finish the fight as early as the 4th match. Because if you remember earlier, from the overall rankings, few teams only, in fact Rigid THC got the only 80 points, so it only means that it's really possible to end the game right away. But speaking of the rankings, rather, this is before we move on to the grand finals. It's very you need to understand first how it looks like, and the match rankings that we are showing you, Poison Ivy getting more eliminated points or elimination points already, to have them a total of 24. So that's going to be interesting, because 4 Kings at the very end got the win, and yet they are staying at the top 2 from the match rankings.
Yeah, I mean, it only shows that in terms of elimination, it can be done, that you can get ahead of those getting the victory. But we'll have to see though if this brings them to it. Like, guys, don't be confused. We're only assuming that, what if today's grand finals? What if this is the Victory Blitz? So that everyone would have an idea on what would be happening by tomorrow. So don't be confused. We're only in knockout stage right now. We're not yet in the grand finals. We're one day or one match away from that happening. Now, overall rankings. Origin TSG hitting that first century mark, or 100 points. But as you can see, 3 teams has reached 80 points. And well, at this point, if this is Victory Blitz, only 3 teams can be eligible to get that win and be declared that champion. But if none of the 3 teams get that win, we go into the standings, and whoever's number 1 could be the champions if it happens tomorrow. But what I'm worried about is some of the teams at the bottom 4, because they only have 1 more map to go, and VVV Renatos, 4VK, VVV Vitas, and I think that is Hyper Vivre Esports is still on the bottom 4, which begs to differ. Are the OGs tired already, or can they make a comeback?
Right, and we were talking about earlier, Cosa Nostra, and they're not being part of the top 16. And seeing the overall rankings is crazy. They're already part of the top 16. That's how it clearly changed the situation in terms of leaderboards easily. If any other teams can perform and have a phenomenal number of kills.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a number of kills, a number of elimination really proves to be very efficient, and also helps the team to get into the 80 points a little bit faster once we get into the grand finals. But again, the only question remains now, the only focus would be at the bottom half, or the bottom of the second half of our leaderboard. The last 4 teams would be knocked out of this competition. They will not be punching their ticket on the grand finals for tomorrow, and they will be losing that opportunity and grabbing a piece of the pie. But still, valiant effort overall, because it seems like it is still very close. It's more of targeting a specific team, which is who's on the 16th, Delta Main. If you target Delta Main, there's a good chance from BV Renatus, from 4 Valor Kings, they might be able to cross over. But if Delta Main manages to survive, get a few more points ahead of them, then that would be trouble for the remaining 4 teams.
I couldn't agree more, 100%, because in terms of number of points. VVV Renetas only need to get 2 more points just to,
Yeah.
or 3 points just to be ahead for the Delta main. But we're not yet done. We still have one more match, the last match for the knockout stage, to where if VVV Redditus really wanted to be part of the top 16, they need to earn and to be into the right place where they can get more kills. And speaking of more kills, we're definitely starting the last match. Here we go once again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your Garena September Cup 2025, and this is the last match of the knocked out stage.
Yeah, the final match for today, and the road for the teams to get into the grand final. So far, it seems like there's not so much of a contention anymore in construction site, which is good, but Nuketown Island will meet one of the team. Now, also in the States, we'll still be seeing not 2, but 3 teams fighting. Same goes with Asylum, same goes with this is Hydrodam on the north, and even in Turbine, like those who usually drop in Turbine go oppose some of the teams in here has let that go because this is crunch time. You don't want to go down that easily. You want to farm points, but before you do that, you need to loot up, and that's how the teams are planning this final game.
Which is really interesting. In playing Blackout map, there's no gulag, so definitely they can farm points. And we might be seeing some teams staying longer in one location, guarding the dog tags of their opponents, like allowing the opponent to get the dog tag and hoping to have those players to go back to the same location so that they can do the same thing, right?
Yeah, let's see though. Let's see if this is something that they can do at this point. Now, well, a lot of engagement happening, but Reslik and Ryu will be taken down. Pave main. Now, I think one of the players from KM2 has been disconnected. Only 3 remains, and the dog tag would be scanned by L. Now, it's Pave who would, who would need to be a little bit more attentive and move in onto this area. And if the timer goes favoring KM2, then they might have 1 player as an insurance policy in this game. Not so much of engagement is happening overall. So let's wait on this to unfold. And there goes X coming back from the revive. So KM2 can still survive.
Let's see if they will have another insurance in surviving or in hoping to get more kills, but too unfortunate for Pave. Hajime L able to do some comeback and get that kill point. Great job in 4 Valor Kings right here, fighting the best teams in the league. So you got to be careful though. That's the lead main team changing their location. We started earlier from the construction. Right now they changed it into the Nooktown Island. So let's see how it goes. How are they going to control this map? And Club TZ stealing that life from his opponent.
Yeah, it's very difficult for 4 Valor Kings. They have been safe earlier, but unfortunately for them, they also has falling down from grace. 18 points before the game has started, and if Leap will continue this on, this might be it for 4BK. Despite of all the challenge that they have put in to play, it seems like Leap says no. And, well, unfortunately for them, they might not be moving through onto grand finals, and Leap main would be adding more to the scores that they have in this game. For RVH, a little bit slow down. Alien. Let's see if Alien will be able to spot out Rick, who is a surprise passenger. But if I know Alien, he would be going in. No, he jumped off. He jumped out. And Rick would be in there. I don't know what's happening. Alien, you might have been just too focused onto the game and have not spotted Rick.
Oh my god!
This is absolute cinema. Rick doing the unthinkable against Immortal Esports.
Great job to Rick. Now being caught by Alien, clearly alienated this mansion, this asylum, and able to manage to survive right now. The focus is to grab the dog tag. He has a chance already to run away from that location while Alien is trying to look for the remaining team. But too late because Rick is on his move, and Carl right now is also some trying to close some space, and that is also out there. Maybe it's one of their tactics, right? Like pretending that they don't know, because right now Nat able to caught him guard.
Well, he was caught off guard, but Rick was just in there. He's chilling like a villain.
Yeah.
I mean, Alien didn't see me. I guess I'm safe. I guess I'm good. But for all we know, the signal has been relayed already. The information has been relayed already, and they have taken them down. 17 teams remaining in this game, and we are still early into the match. First, what, 5-6 minutes into the game, and not a lot of engagement, especially for those at the bottom. They need to be cautious, but for Pave right now, only 2 remains. Kets as well as Trevor would need to move in. For Blackfire, Berto has been knocked down a little bit. A cluster action or spotter action is being raining down on him, but well, I guess they're still safe. VVV. This is VVV Renatos, I believe, who needs plenty of points to be able to cross over to the top 16.
Crossing over is the key to be part of top 16, and that's going to be on the VVV. As you can see right here, another VVV team that we are seeing right now, which is the great location to where they can stay and grab more juices from this map. And after that one, they're just going to wait for the circle to get smaller, and here we go. That's a great preparation already. They know that in no time they need to adjust the position, and just like that, we're seeing them rotating from a different map. And speaking of different maps, we're seeing Immortals Esports getting a good start with 4 kills in total from their bags. And the question right there, can they be able to continuously getting more kills? I know for a fact that they are part of the top 10 teams already, to where they just need to add more points to secure the spot moving into the grand finals.
Yeah, I guess the only teams that could have or might be in trouble are the ones in the 20s as well as the low 30s. But before we go into the scores right now, let's go into the map and find out where the next phase of the circle is. Even farther away, focusing the center into cargo docks, and I believe that's where we last saw Blackfire into that area. A lot of teams might be in trouble as there's a lot of gatekeeping that might be happening. A few airdrops already into the mix as well, making the teams or some of the teams or players a little bit more stronger. Slashy, seeing one player from Delta, and despite not really firing back, Rigid still winning the good fight.
Oh my god, that's gonna be a lot. Gecko TC's rotating, trying to look how bad the situation was. Bunny's still out there, not moving any muzzle at all, because he knows already that 3 soldiers are inside of this location, but this is going to be a third party. You got to be careful right now. That's your 4 Kings, and they might be doing some one top from 4 Kings again. Just like that, Tom Bibbs is starting the war, fighting against Rigid TSG. Here we go, penetrating the building, but too unfortunate because he's the one being knocked down on the ground. Yato high ground, Slashy, can he make it? Oh my god, Yato was the one being knocked down on the ground. Another one, Stellar, not being a star anymore. Super Zep, my brother from another mother, performing well. The only player alive right now. You gotta fly out for you to survive from the Rigid TSG in order for you to have another chance to grab the dog tags of your teammates. But meanwhile, Secret, he knows already the secret. No. Even if that's a legendary smoke, you gotta be careful with just like that, being caught off guard, annihilated by the Rigid TSG.
Yeah, Immortal Esports seems like they are immortal, but for Rigid TSG right now, they will need to get away. Hype Vivre still putting a lot of fight in this game, despite of them being at the bottom of our leaderboard as well. As long as they can still show up, I am loving this storyline. Now, CJ would say
Mm.
I at that point, and Seiji would be taken down as well. Only Black remain, or S7 Black, and it would be deadly. Even Bunny is being taken down. You know how it is. Bunny is that final player, solo mission player out of their team who's trying his best to make the team survive a little bit longer, getting all those placement points despite of not getting a lot of elimination.
Right, and I have some question, brother. I keep
Hmm.
on wondering. We saw
Yeah,
Stellar trying to get inside of the building. I know for a
yeah.
fact that that's going to be a slower movement to where we are expecting that the one who's doing a Parker will be the one being knocked down, but it's a different story for Stellar. Is it? Is he
Yeah.
doing, while trying to go up and get inside, he's doing some ADS already?
I don't know. Probably it's kinetic armor that helped him because at some point, if you have a fire much of like faster fire rate, that like he could have had gone down already. But Black from Hype Vivre managed to take down Sekre, and he's still alive though. So Rigid might be in trouble. Spread a little too thin. Gludo managed to take down Black, and that's it for Hype. Now, for Immortal
Ooh.
Esports, eliminate action. Still, he is alive. Shots on to him. And seems like Rinka will need to fight back. But with the only problem on being the rooftop is there might be a lot of shots coming in from afar. But good thing that he managed to tag Slashy, and Rinka would be let go a little bit.
Oh my god, that's a 2v1 situation. There's no way for you to survive out there not being a Superman and just like that. Happened once again. FJ ambush and great combination with a 2v1 as well, knocking him down, and a total of 13 kills for Immortals Esports. Team Exodus. Meanwhile, on the left, we are seeing some players of Leap and Bound. Same thing, the remaining soldier of the Rigid
Yeah.
TSG. Now the question there, is that going to be a perfect decision to where you got to show up and make sure that you can dodge all of the bullets, or maybe they're just creating some diversion so that they can bait their opponents? Is that going to be a good bait? And here we go. Oh my god, it's not a bait because he managed to get 2 Ps out there, and we only seeing one more player left. Is this going to be annihilation from Immortals Esports? Oh my god, Glue was the one being caught off guard by Lay. Is Lay still being alive? No, that's the end of the
No.
battle of the
I
Rigid
don't think so.
TSG against Immortals Esports. That's going to be intense battle.
Yeah, definitely intense for coming from Immortal Esports. It seems like the decision, the wrong decision is like it's just working against the team right now. And Immortal Esports seems like a stronger team. So to see right now as
Oh.
Apollo jumps in and the finisher onto Aspect as they move out of the compound. 10 teams remaining at this point, and not a lot of teams are surviving, one of which is Leap. And, well, you know how it is. Leap might not be that high on the leaderboard, but they will need to put in more effort in adding those points up until to the final circle.
True enough, but that's going to be hard because Immortals Esports is still out there patiently waiting for them. So one of the
Oh,
best
yeah.
players from Immortals Esports is no other than Rinka. Sato is right now not moving any muscle, but he might be caught off guard, and that's going to be a tight space to where he got no choice. Shockwave being activated. That's a great help, but not enough. And Glue sticking out and going
I
outside of the
know.
building. Surprise, surprise. It's going to be a good bait and a good trade happen from the Immortals Esports and Leap Sato.
And it's a good thing that timing gave them an opportunity for one of the players to be revived. Blue will just be waiting for that same opportunity. Now, as we look into Kleptosy, he's the sole survivor for the team. And I know it's tough that they do have 6 elimination already, and if they can maintain this, they might be able to keep themselves afloat. For Immortal Esports, earlier, we've seen a lot of fight from Alien as well as Nat, but unfortunately, they have gone down already, and Carl and Seiya would need to survive longer. But there's no problem for Enrage. We have seen Immortal Esports Enrage already on the top of leaderboard, first page to be exact,
Mhm.
and all they have to do right now is not to be pushed down. So probably one reason why they're putting up so much of a fight, which I love, because despite of them being safe, they are still not giving up. They want to play more, even more.
And they're hearing you, brother. They're not moving any muzzle at all. Staying at the edge of that
Mhm.
rocky mountain. And
Oh yeah.
speaking of the mountain, we are seeing Kings of the Hill right now from the block far. Are they going to stay on fire? Because looking at the number of kill points that we are seeing, 16 phenomenal performances already from the bags of Blockfire. Having a complete
Yeah.
squad is one of their advantages as well. That's why they're being confident to roam around using that
Oh.
rally card. That him down already. Zero is the next target. Can he make it? That's a lot of damages with a great combination of the cluster grenade. And he is also down. He got two P's out there. And Mackie, seeing his teammates being annihilated, thinking, can I do it? Can I be able to survive? And that's something that we need to find out.
Yeah, that's something that we might be able to see later on. 9 teams are remaining though. And like we've hit the remaining 10 teams a few minutes ago. And we're still in 9 teams remaining. I know for some of the teams that like rigid right now, there's only 1 or 2 players remaining. But this is what triggers them, especially in Blackout, because compared to what we've seen earlier in Isolated, they risk a lot in the early part,
Right.
the early parts, because they know that there's a gulag involved. But now it seems like they want to take it slow, especially in those in the 17 to the 20 of this leaderboard. If they're still alive, they want to farm not only elimination but also in the placement point. And if they'll be able to do that, well, surprise, surprise, some teams will be disappointed.
Right, because I'm seeing some greatness from any other teams and taking good care of that ranking in terms of position. Looking at it, Leap and Bound is also still out there having a complete squad. That's going to be a good and great advantage that they can have. But Apollo about to see Gecko TC right there from the tower 1v1. Apollo is definitely into that space, getting the win. And Leap and Bound right now, on the other hand, they're definitely having a complete squad, but that's an open air battlefield. Berth who's roaming around. Glue is also out there, and they're all showing a trigger discipline not to reveal their position and not to be involved to any engagement. That's the key. They just really wanted to make sure that they got a good position, high ground advantage, as you can see from the block bar, not really going down and wasting. Oh my god, I was wrong. I was about to say that they're not going to waste their position, but Berto being aggressive and making sure that they got to win. I got you, bro. He said to me, I got you, Super Clark. I got the win.
Yeah, I mean, even for first round, even for group stages, I know
He's
a little bit
definitely
of
aggressive.
personality from Birdo. Yeah, he is aggressive. He is hungry. He gets bored easily. I think because he's not waiting. He want to go for a rush. So be it. Then at least they managed to go for elimination. The rest of the teams are going for backup. Now, the only question though is, with a final player from one of the players from one of the VVV, is this enough? Have they done enough for the teams of Assassin to be able to get into the grand finals? Or will there still be a need to get or farm elimination points as well as placement? But let's talk about that in a bit. Right now, I think the blue is just about to close, and Immortal Esports, 3 players might be going against Leap. Leap's 3 players as well, but Dugo is already out, so the Wonder Kid would not be part of this engagement.
Right, and misdirection being activated already just to see if there will be any execution or a great bait happening from that misdirection. But right now, Void still patiently waiting, using that use rock so that he can check and determine if there will be any opponents. But right now, knowing the location, he knows already where to go, and comms being relayed already. So let's see if they're going to push in or not, because the Blockfire got the smoke being activated. That's a great cover, but there's a cluster grenade being thrown as well, just to make sure that they can create some use damage before they make some ambush. And just like that, ambush is really happening already, but a different team coming out from Immortal Esports. And just like that, our circle is getting smaller. The 2 players left from Blockfire still in a sandwich situation. This is going to be too dangerous, brother.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, how dangerous it is. Blackfire right now for the backstab. Low key with a low key hit. Nasho still back in play at MJ, putting so much pressure from high above. Shots onto Luki. A little bit of nade action might save him a little bit, but He was almost being, he was almost dropped with that vehicle. It is now a 1v2v1 situation where Blackfire has advantage. Smoke has been released. How will this work against a misdirection? I don't think so, because with that visibility, it seems like MJ would be the first one to go down. But no, Loki's the one who went down. 1v1v1 Super Clark.
Oh my God, it's gonna be clutch, brother. This is intense. Let's see what's gonna happen. Quasi underneath from this hill. So let's see, MJ. This is kind of like something that you can say, are they smart enough in having a good preparation? Oh, connecting a few shots already.
Oh,
You
no.
gotta be careful because that's really a gunshot. Dodging the bullets, but that's not enough. Quasi with a third party. Oh my God. Congratulations to our Team 12 team getting the win. What a great victory. Great job in maintaining that position. Great composure as well. That's the key in winning the battle. You just really need to have a perfect timing and be smart enough on how to really find a perfect timing, using that advantages in terms of the high ground, using the utilities like the smoke, just to have a great defense and be ready for annihilation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, MJ took the best advantage out there. On a 1v2, he managed to caught one off guard from Blackfire and even the other. But it was from one player of OBS that really put up the final takedown before that victory has been taken. So, Leap, Unbound, and Boom with that final victory, and seems like the story remains. None of the team has managed to get a back-to-back. It was close though for Blackfire to put two on the board, but it seems like it's more of the hunger. And I'm talking about like they're hungry, they want to end it. I'm talking about the hunger of putting their name on the board, the prestige of winning a game, despite of how difficult it is. Less advantage for them because of the numbers, but still they managed to get that victory.
Right, and the one that they're taking good care of is to maintain the rankings from the leaderboards, and they want to make sure that they can be part of the grand finals, because looking at the highlights out here, it shows the aggressiveness and how clever they are in executing their gameplays. Even if they got all of the utilities that they can use, to where we're seeing some good chance of surviving if you're going to use your legendary smoke to where you can't see anything. But of course, your opponent is not yet dumb. It's not really dumb enough not to know on how to target you, even if you're inside of that legendary smoke, because there's any other things that you can do, like the cluster grenade. You can throw that one and create some use damage, and definitely got a chance to track you inside of that cloud of smoke. And even if you are using misdirection like the one that we are seeing right here, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be done, especially if it's more of the tactics that you will want to play out. Now, we'll have to find out if this is something that might change the storyline for tomorrow, because so far in this game, there's still a lot of changes that might happen. There's still a lot of changes that might happen once we jump into grand finals. You know how it is when pressure is on the team.
Right.
Grand finals, it's what? 10,000 US dollars for the champion. So if you will not be like strong enough, like in mental state, you might be losing your chill and you would be a wreck.
Are we talking about
overall.
Berto?
So if Berto can slow down, yes, it might be able to win the fight.
We saw him all earlier, but he proves me wrong, because I'm about to say that they need to maintain the high ground, and yet Berto showing that, hey, Silver Clark, I got you. I can get a W in true enough. But yeah, going back to that match winner, this is your Leap and Bound, and we are keep on seeing the GOAT of the Leap and Bound being crowned as champion again. I mean, being crowned as MVP again. That's your MJ with 4 kills.
Yeah, definitely. 4 elimination for the team. Now, it's not as much compared to what we've seen, but a total of what? This is 11 elimination from what we've seen for Leap and Bound really tells us a good story. Again, at this point, if some can focus on being or getting that aggression on a little bit early, reaching that 80 points by the beginning of the day, like what, first 3 games, then they will activate that victory blitz condition. And a victory just like this might lead them to the championship. But if the storyline is similar in terms of flags and banners into like in our every map, if no one gets the following after reaching 80 points, then it would be going in for the rankings. But speaking of rankings, for the match rankings, Blackfire still managed to get a #1 spot because of the number of elimination in that game.
Right. Even if we saw that the Leap and Bound getting the victory, but in terms of number of kills, that's not enough to put them on top. And Blackfire indeed clearly on fire. 32 total points from the match rankings. So let's see how it goes, because I'm so excited to see how it looks like for the overall rankings. And speaking of brother, here you go. That's your overall rankings.
Oh! There you have it. Like, guys, let's focus on the second page on the 16th spot. Delta Main managed to keep themselves afloat. It's just unfortunate, despite of how well VVV Renatus as well as VVV Vitas tried their best to get points in terms of placement, in terms of a few elimination, they couldn't cut the cake. They couldn't cut this game, and they would be taken out. Same goes for Valor Kings main as well as Hyper Vivre Esports. And the remaining 16, or the top 16, will be moving on to tomorrow's matches.
Right, and I wanted to do the same thing, brother. I wanted to request to do the same thing like we did last night with Fasha Bunny. Fasha Bunny mentioning the name, and then I'll go next, and then you do the next name. It's kind of like this one. If I'm going to mention IEX Seduce, you're going to follow Rigid, and I'll go with the Blackfire.
I got it.
So let's start it. Let's give it up for the overall rankings who will be moving to the grand finals. Start off with Immortals Esports, Team X Seduce,
Rigid TSG,
Blackfire,
4 Kings,
Leap and Bound,
Poison Ivy Atlas,
IE and Rage,
KM2 Hades,
Leap Main Team,
OBS Main,
Pave Omni,
Rigid Phoenix,
Fall Cruise,
Cosa Nostra Noblesse,
RVH Gemini,
Delta Main.
and those are your
Those
teams.
are the 16 teams. Off to the Grand Finals.
Oh my God, I like that. I like that. Thank you so much for playing it professionally, Brother Neptune. Thank you for allowing me to do that. And here we go. Just for a recap, the first match goes to Immortals Esports, followed by Blackfire and OBS, able to perform as well. Rigid Phoenix after the call out, and followed by the 4 Kings. And at the very end, a different logo. There's no back-to-back. Ended from Leap Main Team.
Yeah, I mean, ask and you shall receive. I asked for different teams across the board, and we were given that. Thanks to these teams, not only these teams who's getting a victory, but also the other teams who have managed to like put down those who have potential to go in for that 2 victories in a day. But, well, as much as it excites me to see the top 16 in this game, it excites me even more to see how it's going to end up onto grand finals. We were talking about a little bit story in the Victory Blitz. For those of you who don't know, Victory Blitz is a new format. We're going to talk about that even more come tomorrow. So don't worry if you're missing out. But for those of you who are hanging with us right now, don't forget to like and share the stream as well, because we need more eyes. We need more of the COD community to join us on the grand finals tomorrow, Supercard.
That is definitely true. Show some love and support to our BR community, because this is the one we are requesting from Garena to have more tournaments. And I hope that this is not going to be the last one. Who knows? We might be having another one after 6 months, or maybe next year. Who knows? Trying to be, anticipate and manifesting that the Garena will give
Yeah.
us more major tournaments for the BR tournament. And I would like to take this opportunity, brother. I know for a fact that I won't be casting the grand finals, but I wanted to
Mhm.
say thank you to you. Thank you so much for allowing me to showcase my skills. And thank you so much for Fasha Bunny because of the chemistry. Thank you so much for Garena for having me. AJ Mustachio, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this Garena September Cup 2025 BR tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of things as well in this tournament, but overall, we would like to thank everyone who stayed with us, not only for the knockout stage, but also in the group stage the past 5 days that we are getting there. But right now, we're going to say goodbye and good night. I am Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by the one and only Super Clark. We'll see you again tomorrow for the grand finals. So, bye bye.